I'm Natalie.
And I'm Hannah. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. On today's episode, we start with a mega training update, some Disney news, and a slight spiral about the upcoming Chicago Marathon. Then, things are getting a little spooky as we share all the thrills, chills, and miles of Natalie's Disneyland Halloween Half Marathon weekend recap. So, grab your candy, lace up your shoes, and step into the magic with us.
Started a new enterprise since I last talked with you.
Are you a boss babe and you didn't let me know?
Well, I've always been a boss babe, but at the same time, I am now the proud coach of a fantasy football team.
Oh!
I was obviously gone for the first weekend of NFL football for Disneyland, and I didn't have the time or really wherewithal to pay attention to what was going on, just knowing that I was going to lose. But I can see how this gets really, really like encompassing. This is fun. I'm probably not going to win. I thought I was going to, but I scored a lot more points than last week, and I made a couple clutch switches on my team. I'm just trying to fail upward here, but I feel like I understand the memes that's like when you lose your boyfriend or your spouse to being a coach of a fantasy team every weekend for 16 weeks. I kind of get it now.
Yeah.
It's
Do you know how many fantasy teams I have?
3?
Yeah. I do. I acquired a new league this year and lost out on another one. My work league did not renew. I think it's just like too many people have shifted and there's different dynamics going on. But I'm the proud co-commissioner of a Rise and Run fantasy football league.
Ooh.
It's very low stakes because they have 3 tiers going on this year. We have 2 free, like no cost leagues. Then they have at least one, if not 2 20s and 1 or 2 40s. I think, like entry cost. Maybe it was even 50. I don't know. They could be going wild over there. But ours is pretty low stakes. I think everyone's really in it for just a little bit of fun, not taking it too seriously.
That's incredible. I had one rule for my fantasy team, and it was called no Packers. Sorry, Tony. And but also it's kind of interesting though when you think about it, because the Bears played the Lions this weekend, and I have the Lions defense. And I was kind of rooting, and I'm a Bears fan. I was kind of rooting for the Bears to keep sucking because I kept getting more points from the Lions defense.
Yeah.
So, but I also have some Bears on my team, but I got a good wide receiver. He's way outperforming his projections. Again, I probably lost this week, and I got to put Joey B on the injured reserve, sadly.
Me too.
We both have Joe Burrow. That's so funny.
I have him for one of my 3 teams.
That's so funny. But yeah,
stupid toe. Stupid turf toe.
You know, he's just being relatable to us as runners with having a toe altercation.
Oh my gosh, my toe altercation from my training this week. Rude.
Let's hear about it.
I don't know if it's blister brigade, because I don't know if it's a blister is the thing. So I got new shoes. It's not the shoes. I just want to preface, Jack did not steer me wrong. The shoes were great. I think it's because they were already bruised from the half like a month ago. But I was feeling super great until I was feeling great, but very nervous basically the entire run because new shoes, and I decided to wear them on a 12 miler. I had worn them once at home and they were okay for that. But I was just nervous because my left foot is so much smaller that I was going to get a blister or something.
Mm.
I did not. My left foot escaped with nothing. My right foot, the big toe on the like left side edge of the big toenail, there is a distinct sharp pain, but there is no visible like blister or anything. So I don't know if it's like deep down there or if it's just extra irritated because it's already bruised. So there's like a lot of stuff going on with my toe, anyways. And 12 miles of impact on a bruised toenail is maybe not advisable, but oh well. Like it's not going away for the next probably year. So we gotta just, keep going.
It happens.
So yeah, I don't think I'm a blister brigade submission, but yeah, about mile like 7, it started to feel a little uncomfortable. Not the same uncomfortable. If you've ever bruised your toenail before, you'll know what I'm talking about. That it gets kind of throbby, like you can feel your pulse in your
Yes.
toe. It didn't feel like that.
That's good.
It was like this is why I was worried it was a blister because it was kind of that hot feeling you get from a blister that or a hot spot. That's why they're called that on the way. But then when I took off my sock and everything, like there was nothing there other than the fact that my toenail's already bruised and it was very sensitive. Like I don't want to touch it. So I'm hoping like a nice Epsom salt soak will do it some good. So, but yeah, my training went pretty well considering I did a 12-miler and I feel great. I feel a little
Yay.
sunburnt, and that could be real sunburn or dehydration. Unsure which one it is. I'm actually leaning towards dehydration because the trail I was on is incredibly shaded and it's been a little bit cooler here and I'm a salty sweater, but I don't actually how some people when they sweat, it's like rivulets, like a little like river situation on your face.
Hmm.
Mine is not like that. I sweat plenty, and there's plenty of salt because I had a whole caking of it on my face that stung my eyes so bad when I
Oh.
jumped in the shower. But I like I sweat, but then it just evaporates so quickly, even here where it's like really humid, that like my skin felt dry and hot for a good chunk of the run because there was just nothing to like keep releasing the
Hmm.
heat. And so I think that is part of the feeling. And then I also ran out of water at mile 10 of
Ooh.
12, which I mean, if I had to run out of water, I'm glad it was so close to the end and not further in because it was getting progressively hotter.
Mm.
When we started the run, I think it was in the mid 60s, maybe upper 60s. But by the time we finished the run, it was like low 80s. Big
Mm.
jump.
Yum. Yum.
And luckily, I had like 2 liters worth of water in the car with some with electrolytes and some not. So I just chugged, which is, I think, why I feel so good now. But I did that. I did one of my 2 weekday runs. So next week, if I get all 3 runs, then it's a step up. We shall see. Every start line is a victory, as I like to say, and I'm sure lots of other people like to say. And I'm just going to keep trying to put one foot in front of the other. And you're going to keep reminding me not to feel guilty about it.
I am going to keep reminding you not to feel guilty about it.
Everyone needs, it's really hard, to be nice. Like being nice to yourself is something you have to work on every single day. It's especially as someone who has had perfectionist tendencies my whole life. It is just like so easy to not even notice that you're not being kind to yourself the way you would to other people because I would never in a million years say half the stuff that I say to myself to other people when I feel like, oh, I missed another run or I'm so behind or this time last year I was so much further ahead or all these other things and like I make myself feel guilty and then it starts the shame spiral and you don't want to start and I'm working on it.
It's all about befriending your inner critic, learning what motivates them and how to work with them to get over that.
Mhm.
So, but that's a diatribe I won't go down. at this point. I used to have a 2.5 to 3 hour long program that I would host for our sorority for that, just about that, called Body Image 3D. But we can go on to that conversation in a while, and also that's probably trademarked.
Probably.
Probably,
Just
even
get
though they've
yourself a really
changed.
good friend that'll help you with it. Good. It's
Exactly.
good to have a support system.
Yes, but the
Like my
lesson.
mom, she commented on my reel that I posted at the end, which if you haven't seen, you should go look at. It's hilarious.
It's very
If I
funny.
do say so myself. If you enjoy SpongeBob and me looking dead, then it will be very funny. But my mom commented and like told me like way to go or something on it. So thanks, mom.
You killed it. You you did a lot
I
better with your long run than I did with mine. Oh, we have Kitty
We have a
posting.
sushi appearance. Yes, I was very surprised because granted I did 1 mile less right than the half, but I finished it in almost the same time
Mhm.
as the half. So obviously like I added, I was running a bit slower, but considering I felt really good the whole time, like in perceived effort, I felt good the whole time.
Mhm.
My heart rate told a different story, but I felt good about it the whole time. I didn't feel like I was dying at all until the last mile, and I was very upset about the water. But every other mile felt amazing. Bye, sushi.
She just, like, whacked her tail against Hannah's microphone to be like, "Later."
She's trying to make her decision. She does still want to be here, but
She's like, "It's our show. My show's on."
yeah, you're a sister too, aren't you? Yes, you are.
Oh,
You and your sister Pep downstairs.
Pep.
We have lots of sisters and
Exactly.
brothers. That's all you guys.
Yay. Terms of training this week.
Yeah, please tell. We don't need to like here listen to sushi purr.
Uh, so I can just cover I'll cover this part of it now. When I did the Disneyland Halloween half, I did complete a 20 miler that day in
Psycho.
advisably. Okay, so I did
Proud but psycho.
I did count my walk to the start line, which
As you
then
should.
I was like walking little circles around the parking lot like a crazy person. And then I was like running little like strides too to just like keep things rolling. And then I counted, the race, which I did lots of shenanigans during, and then I counted, the walk back to the hotel. And at this point, I'm kind of like, yeah, no, like we're done. I think we're done. But then I saw I was at 17 and a half. I'm like, oh God, that is so close to 20.
Mhm.
I have to do it. I think if I still had over 3 miles, that probably would have been my threshold of like, nah, fam, I'm done.
This is my
And
logic while running. I tell Ben, "It's only a 5K."
it wasn't even a 5K. I'm like, oh,
Exactly.
yeah, we got this. I was like, I'm like doing the mental math of like how far my hotel is from the start line, or not the start line. I mean the entry to Disneyland. And I'm like, I could basically go run there and then go through security, like blip in or like at least tap into California Adventure and then tap out and then leave. And then because I hadn't showered yet, because part of my big thing is that like if I'm going to do the mileage later, is that I have to wear the same shoes because my spreadsheet's not smart enough to accommodate like two different
Mhm.
shoes in a day. I would just, if I do something like that, I put it on a different day, which I don't
Mhm.
like doing either because like, the spreadsheet's not smart enough for that, for it to do the other math that I have to do in it. Okay. And I know that there's a way to make it smarter, but I don't need to invest that much time into this. But
I
anyway,
could take a look.
yeah, I know there is a way to do it, but also like because it's a shared spreadsheet with Mr. Natalie and like there's already a bunch of additional features that I have that he
Mhm.
doesn't. We kind of like don't need to just continue to complicate my side. Um, but anyway, that's kind of beside the point. But I ran to Disneyland, went through security, did a lap around California Adventure, got myself more churro toffee. I'll get to that later.
Ooh.
Because I knew I was gonna go right back to the hotel. Because what I did is I even changed out of my sweaty half marathon clothes, put my shoes back on, but I did get some of those layers and stuff off, drop my hydration vest off, and then we got to a certain point in which I'm like, this was a dumb idea, and I ended up doing an extra 3.25 miles. When I only had to do like 2.5, so I clowned myself, but I did get a 20 miler in. Um, when I got home from California, my training went pretty well during the week. I'm not gonna say I did any strength training because no. I mean I did like a little bit like mobility and stuff, but I did have a really, really, really good speed workout.
Ooh.
I did it on Friday, which is also like a little it's outside the norm, but it was not a normal week having flown back from California. And while the speed workout was really, really good, I absolutely hit it for all the intervals. I was, gosh, I think at least like 45 seconds under what was prescribed for me for each of them. Crazy town. I think I'm learning that I'm going a little too hard in the paint on said speed workouts.
Yeah.
And I do need to just confirm this with my coach because even having like that day off or like light like recovery on before my long run, I'm like dying during my long run a lot easier than I normally do. So I think I'm going a little too hard in the paint and should probably, consider that before I do this week coming up. Uh my long run, cuz this last week's the last big one.
You
So,
got this.
I haven't even started looking at the weather yet cuz it's just going to make me mad, sad, maybe, or happy, maybe happy. Also, it's too far out for me to have like that good of a really true gauge, but my long run this past weekend was 10, and I'm like, oh, it's just 10, and I did 20 last weekend. And I hate when we get to that. I love and hate when we
Mhm.
get to this stage of it where it's like it's just 10. I'm like, GTFO. That's a lot of miles. And I slept in. I didn't do my long run. This is okay. Curse. It started curse from the start, get go. Didn't do it on a Saturday, which I always do. I'm a Saturday long run girly.
We were both being punished.
And then I could not. I was awake at like before the sun rose and whatever. I couldn't get out of bed. I was tired. And I did not start my run until I think like quarter to 9 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, it's quarter to 9. It's still fine. Wrong. It is hot. It is humid here
Pretty
in
sure I was still
Nebraska.
in bed at 9.
And I really regretted the dilly dally.
Mhm.
Paced really well the first 4 miles, TBH. But what I was supposed to do is I was supposed to take the first 5 easy, and then I had paces for the next 5.
Mhm.
And the not wellness of I felt like poop. And I'm like, you know what? You don't win the marathon. You don't set the PR by, pushing it and then passing out on the sidewalk. So, um took it very, very, very easy, did a lot of walking. This was also I'm trying to really adapt myself to the idea of no hydration vest, but I think I can have the vest no bladder for Chicago.
Mhm.
But also like I'm like just like the no on demand water. I'm
Mhm.
trying to adapt myself to that. So I'm like, I'm bringing 2 little water bottles, 2 16-ounces, and
Mhm.
that's going to be, it.
Yeah.
I I stopped at Walgreens and bought a water and a Powerade. So, you know, um because that was not sufficient.
Mhm.
So in reality, what Chicago's going to look like, I'm not going to say I'm going to have it on demand, but like I'm going to be fine because there's going to be so many aid stations. So like
Yes.
I'm going to be fine. I'm gonna be fine. So I
Mhm.
think also it's like batting with a donut on, taking the test swings there. If I have like a couple liters of water on my back, and then I won't have those couple liters of water on my back. Later on, I think we'll be fine. I don't think that that'll mess up my groove.
Mhm.
all that much, but it was definitely a rough one, and I definitely sat and rotted in my bathtub for a lot longer, like a lot longer than really is appropriate for the length of the run. Cause like I don't think I even rotted that long after my 24 last year. Or after a marathon. Like I really haven't rotted that long in the tub for a really long time. And then to add
Sometimes
in
it's good for the soul.
true. And then to add insult to injury, when I did decide to get up and, wash my hair, actually like shower, I got the worst Charlie horse in my foot.
Oh, no.
And as I'm trying to get up, and I just screech and I yell, "I'm fine!" to Mr. Natalie because he obviously hears like a yelp. Uh, and I yell, "I'm fine! It's just a Charlie horse!" And yeah, it didn't go away for a little bit though. It was like in my foot, like in my arch
Oof.
too. Like, oh, brutal.
I
And
remember getting those during swim team in high school. You have to get out and, like, stand on the edge of the pool, stretch it out. That was the worst.
yeah, it was not fun. Not fun.
Especially when your coach thinks you're, spending too long and you need to get back in the pool and you're like, "Mm-mm, nope.
Do you
The
want to
second I
see?
stop this and start pointing my toes again, we are doomed."
Yeah. What do you want to see happen here, sir or ma'am? Yeah, so that was my week. So, we had some high highs. Um, Also in terms of Chicago prep, we got the event guide. So
Woo!
there's a couple more pages in it than the Disney ones. And by a
Yes.
couple, I mean a lot.
Mhm. There's no money prize at Disney, right?
I don't think
I don't think
so.
so. There's money on the line at Chicago, so it makes sense there's a little more going on there.
That the Abbott World Majors status, just like a couple more people there too. It's weird.
Mhm.
But so we got that. We got the medal reveal while I was at Disneyland, so that was exciting. And yeah, I got my shoes ordered, so that's exciting.
Ooh, which colorway did you go with?
Pink.
Ooh, like a neon
Not super
or like a
neon, but
blush,
bright.
but
Uh
bright
I did
fuchsia?
want yeah, I think probably closest to fuchsia, yes.
Okay.
I ordered directly from Saucony because they did not have cute colors available in my local running store. And I'm sorry if I'm going to spend that on shoes. I want
Mhm.
to like them. And also not have them be mostly white where they're going to get dirty. I mean, they're
Mhm.
going to get dirty either way, but like, I know. I know how that's going to end up. I want to like them. So I also ordered my new shocks. I don't know if I talked about this on the pod, but
No, I don't think so.
so a couple weeks ago, I closed my shocks in my car door
Oof.
on one side
What a
and
tragic end.
oh, they still function.
What?
They do. They're downstairs or I would grab them. But there's like just like there's it because it didn't break off. Like the tip or the piece where the sound comes off didn't break off, but it does have a little bit of exposed wire. And I sweat a lot, as we've mentioned. So the tape that's holding that together, it's not holding it together, but it's like I'm trying to create a seal.
Mhm.
So we've ordered new ones at this point.
We're big safety proponents here at the pod.
Yes, yes, we are. Um, and I mean, they were on sale at Fleet Feet. They were like
Ooh.
$40 off, and then I also had a reward to use. So
Mm.
um, I uh, I made out okay, and then I also placed a feed order. So um,
Dangerous territory.
yeah,
I'm
no kidding.
pretty sure I have like $400 worth of stuff just sitting in my cart on the feed right now.
Yes, I spent a lot of the monies, but probably the biggest motivate. This is another thing. Wow, we have so much to catch up on. So I used to be able to find pickle shots in my
Mhm.
local grocery store.
Interesting.
Even like the big one guy that it was my refill one or my let's be honest, I'd just take a squirt of it before I would go out for the long run, and then I'd take the portable ones with me, or sometimes I'd refill the little portable ones if I didn't throw them out in a garbage can on my way.
Mhm.
Um, or even just the little guys. They've been gone. They've been gone for a couple weeks, and guess what? I was down to my last pickle shot.
Mm.
So this is tragic because as I think I did talk about this when I did my 18 miler, how I think that like part of this whole summer running gambit, it only took me the whole dang summer to figure this out, is that part of the reason I'm suffering, I feel like more, is that I need to take more and I've been watching my sodium, but like I think I do need to I need to take pickle shots more regularly because I
Mhm.
felt like almost back to normal after I took one.
Yeah.
Um and so I got a case of them.
Mhm. How many pickle shots do you anticipate taking during a marathon?
That is a very well-timed question because I was thinking about it earlier as I was suffering,
Uh-huh.
and I honestly am gonna probably bring 1 an hour. I don't know if I'll take all
1
of
an
them.
hour. I mean, to be fair, there's is there 500 or is there 7 something in a pickle shot?
That's a wonderful question.
Sodium content.
And, like, I'm a big proponent also of, like, bringing extra because then, like, if you don't use it, you just
Uh-huh.
keep it, right? But you can't go get another one. I'm gonna be taking Malort at mile 21 just to get
No. Oh.
something salty in my mouth, and that's not gonna end well.
Let's see. Okay, I've got it pulled up on the feed. Where's the nutrition facts? Where are they hiding them? There they are. Sodium 470,
Okay.
which is a pretty reasonable amount every hour.
Yeah. Especially if it's anywhere near as freaking humid as this BS has been here.
Yeah. So I during the marathon for marathon weekend this past year obviously wasn't as hot because it was
Mhm,
January. Um I took I think I took 2, but I planned on taking 3.
mhm.
If I was doing Chicago over again, I would for sure be taking like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Probably 4 because during a half I take 2. I only took 1 today on my 12. This weekend I took 1, bleh,
Mhm.
whatever, Um, timey-wimey. And I think I would have enjoyed having the second one. So yeah, I think the 1 an hour is like not a bad plan. I usually like to switch mine up. I don't like to have the same thing over and over again every hour. Same with my gels and my chews and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
So usually what I do is I do the pickle shots and then I do those every other. And then I bring salt stick or my what you're gonna have. You're bringing the like squeezy bottles, right? For your water.
I'm allowed those?
Yeah. If they're
Cool,
empty.
cool.
If you
I
go in empty, put your powder in the bottle
Okay.
and close it. No water so they can look and see. Or you can put your powder in like a Ziploc so it's clear and like labeled and empty water bottles. And then they have water out the wazoo once you make it through security and you
Okay,
just mix it up inside security.
cool.
So you could have the 2 squeezy bottles in the front of your vest in those larger pockets. That's what I do. And then I have all my gels in the zippered pockets inside and then pickle shots in I have a phone in one of the front small pockets and then pickle shots in the other one. And then I put all my blocks in the part of our vest that goes behind your back because they're long enough that they like sit perfectly and you can reach them from either side if they like
Mm,
shift.
I like it. I like it.
So that's how I situate. And then I always have my backup hydration. So I keep emergency liquid IV, emergency salt stick tablets in the little like small resealable container
Mhm.
thingy, and emergency KT tape with my glide in the other zipper pocket or in the behind part where I put the
Yeah.
blocks. It just sort of depends how the vest is packed out that day.
Yeah.
Anywho, that was a tangent, but I am proud of you.
I like
You sweat way more than I do, like saltiness.
I
Um,
literally am like a crispy, crusty, like you know when you get like the best type of McDonald's fries, the ones that are
yes.
like salted and you're hungover, and not that it's been that I've done that in a long time, but like when you were in college and you were hungover and you got the saltiest fries from McDonald's to like satiate, that is me. That is how I sit on my stoop after my long run. The salty fry at the bottom of your McDonald's bag.
Nice.
There's a visual.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I am gonna bring, because then also I usually sit and snack on Dots pretzels in the corrals too,
Yum.
because that's also salty.
Mhm.
Just kind of like get things rolling, and
Mhm.
I think we're at this is gonna sound terrible, but we're at the like point of like, I don't want to say whatever it takes, but like, because that's a really dramatic way to talk about like a marathon when like I don't have prize money on the line or like anything like that. Like
It's your race though. You
it
still
is my
have goals.
Olympics. It is
Yeah.
mine. But at the same time, like it's like a whatever, like if I need 4 pickle shots for my long run this weekend, so freaking be it. I will order more from the feed. I got a credit, so I'll order more to make sure they get here, cuz honestly, I ordered Friday and on Sunday I got my order.
Yeah, they come fast.
I I had ordered at Black Friday last year, so
How
that's
many did
taken.
you order? Did you order a box of 12 or did you order like a few,
Oh,
hoping a grocery store
12.
would restock? Okay,
12.
cool.
Please, cuz I got the chili lime as well, so.
Yes. Please
Mm.
tell people about the chili lime because I haven't had it yet. Like, what's the
Oh,
level
okay.
of spice of chili lime?
It's not like
Because
super
that's
spicy.
terrifying to me.
It's not like super spicy. It's not like a, oh shoot, I need like, but it like it just hits, and especially I think that something I've said is that I think I'm having a problem with needing to cut the sugar from
Mhm.
gels.
Yeah. I feel
Uh
like regular pickle shot does that though.
it does, but I felt like I did take one during Disneyland. That was my last chili lime that I had.
Mhm.
And I took it during, and that was like a, okay, like you can have it once you get to 7, because I only had one left, and I didn't see them at the expo to
Uh-huh.
restock. Um, like you only got one left, so
Mhm.
and I felt like a new woman, truly. I was like, oh, let's go. I also got a lot of story or replies to my story that were like, shots, shots, shots. I'm like, yes.
So I was also thinking about that on my long run. And I was thinking, remember how I don't know how many episodes ago this was. Do you remember you mentioned that when we were in college, it was like a see a shot, send a shot,
Oh, reply
picture,
chug.
reply chug. Yes, thank you. I was thinking we should start that but with pickle shots.
Yes. Yes.
See a shot, send a shot, pickle shot edition.
Yes. Yes, freaking reply chugs. Electrolyte reply chugs.
Yes.
Wait, wait. Okay. All right. I'm gonna store this in the noodle. Because we're also in busy season, everybody now. Like a busy season has like fully like gone bam. And so it's so great to be in peak week for marathon training and busy season. I love fall marathons. Fall marathons are great, and I'm totally gonna do one again.
She's about to have a mental breakdown.
No, it's fine. That's what the running's for. I love doing an 8.5 mile speed workout on a weekday morning. Oh.
I'm actually laughing at how funny you are.
Thanks. Laugh so you don't cry. 2025. Finger gun. Ooh, oh boy. So we can now that we've talked a little bit about Chicago, and as my lackadaisical prep. It's not lackadaisical prep. It's just like things are thinging, okay? Like the team actually, um we are getting really close. Sorry, one last thing about Chicago.
No, this is a very important thing about Chicago.
So my team, uh the Run Disney Villains Take Chicago for American Cancer Society, is um doing a, I wouldn't say one last push, because we still have 28 days at time of recording till the marathon, to because we get to name a grant if we raise $175,000. We are at time of recording, $168,570.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so close.
We started at this push at 161.
Oh.
So we have raised a crap load of money for American Cancer Society in the last like day or so. Definitely thanks on behalf to the Run Disney Run group for putting up the posts and kind of calling attention to it. And I shared a little bit about my story and what American Cancer Society means to me. So if you are so inclined, I have made my goal, but there are some villains who haven't. So I can link my relink because I took mine out for a little while ago. But I can relink my fundraiser that's just a team general fundraiser. But um, it's the biggest team that has fundraised for American Cancer Society in its history for a marathon, and getting to name a grant is pretty freaking sweet. So we're hoping to hit that dollar. I don't remember what the deadline is exactly. I thought that it was just when by the marathon, but I do need to confirm that. But what a thing to put my leg or have be part of the legacy of, though. Definitely, it means a lot, and it means a whole lot to me. So I'm really kind of hoping we get there, and definitely very thankful for the overall Run Disney community and just what they're willing to do and just being part of the villains team, because that was the last push to get me over into signing up for Chicago. I was pretty much already there. I was already there, and then I saw how many other Run Disney people there were, and I'm like, okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
in. So, ah,
Yay. Speaking of Run Disney,
yes, that
you know,
thing.
as if, that's not what we talk about on this podcast. Would we like to do some countdowns?
Sure.
We have 37 days until Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2025. I'm not freaking out at all about that.
So timing wise, if we go by the rules of how I did Halloween half weekend, I have like a little over a week till I have to start worrying about not having a bib yet,
Mm-hmm.
because I got mine like literally a month out for Halloween. We're good.
It's gonna be fine.
It'll be
It's
fine.
gonna be fine. For training, 30 minutes on Tuesday, Thursday, or 30 to 45 minutes if you are participating in the challenge. 5K has a 30-minute long run. 10K has a 30-minute long run. Beginner half has a 3-mile long run. And experienced half and challenge have 4-mile long runs. We have 113 days until Marathon Weekend 2026. Natalie's having a fun time over there, freaking out. Are you going to be okay?
I will be, but that number just keeps getting lower and lower, and like I'm still not obviously back in the dopey training mindset yet. Um I'm obviously not there, and it's going to be like somewhere in the 80s when I have to start caring again. And
That's not that far from now.
uh-huh, yeah, which that also brings into a reminder of how far away Chicago is, and yeah, it sounded like a good idea at the time.
It was.
It
You're going to
still
have a
is.
great time.
It'll be fine.
You're going to be so ready. If you're running marathon weekend, you have 30 minutes for marathon, 30 to 45. Oh, wait. Okay, so you got 30 for more than marathon. You got 30 for any race that's not a challenge, basically. 30 to 45 minutes for Goofy or 45 minutes for Dopey. Welcome to the party, 10Kers. This is your first week on the training schedule. Woohoo! You will start your first weekend off with a 1.5 mile long run. Beginner half has 3 miles. Experienced half has 4 miles. Beginner marathon and experienced marathon both have 13-mile long runs. And Goofy and Dopey have a 4-mile walk on Saturday and a 13-mile run walk on Sunday.
Welcome to back to backs.
Eek!
Yes.
That's terrifying.
For
I
a
guess
second. Okay.
I don't know. I just have thoughts, but they're like ADHD thoughts, not coherent thoughts.
Most of my thoughts. It's kind of interesting. So this is like the watershed week, I feel like. Okay, so for a lot of you, and this was the boat I was in, this is the week where most people I know do 13.1 because they couldn't do 13 without going to 13.1. And every long run that you increase after this is if it's your first time and you're like me, it's longer than you've ever run before. So it'll be fine. It will be fine. The 2-mile step ups, it's not all that horrible. And you'll kind of look back in like 6 weeks and be like, "Oh, remember when I was scared to do 15? I have 20 on the calendar now. Aw." So yeah, like that's just how it goes. But in seriousness, try not to kind of look at it as like your kind of like your next step toward what
Mhm.
your goal is of running your first marathon, goofy, dopey, etc. And a little less of like the, oh my God. I know it's hard to silence the thoughts of like, oh my God. But try to kind of think of it as like, okay, like it's a new adventure past here. This is when I got
Yes.
COVID too. So
Oh.
before that first one. So it was like new distances, recovering my lungs from the cocoa. Good times.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah.
They do be that way.
It do be that way sometimes.
They really do.
Hopefully we don't get the cocoa at all this season, but also hopefully not at the same time.
Yeah, no, we don't need to share that. And again, I'm just going to reiterate that we were like 800 miles away from each other. So it's not like we saw each other and shared it. And it doesn't pass through microphone or
Mhm.
phone call. But
We have 135 days until Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend 2026 and the final Disneyland race for a very long time. We have 163 days until Princess Half Marathon Weekend 2026. 212 days until Springtime Surprise Weekend 2026. Your shirt deadline is next week on September 22nd, 2025. This is your final warning because that is on a Monday. So it's before you're going to hear us again. So remember to change your size if you need to.
yeah, we may or may not remember to post a reminder.
We'll try. We're
We will
not
try.
great at that.
Okay, to give us some credit, it's just that we're busy people.
Yeah.
And, we bat okay sometimes.
Mhm. Your proof of time deadline, as it has been for a very long time, remains January 5th, 2026. So we might have to we might have to have a countdown for the proof of time because it's so far away.
Yeah, that is so true.
What about the Disney news, Natalie? What do we have there? Or what do we not have there, really, is the better question. Rude. Disney, rude. Sorry.
We still have yet to receive the marathon medals, and I'm gonna laugh if we have egg on our face because you got them yesterday, but it's Sunday when we're recording, so haha. I do feel like it's this week or next week. And I guess to take a step back is I do track, of course, because of course I have a spreadsheet for it.
Natalie has
I
a spreadsheet for everything.
true dat. And I do track basically like historical like announcement timelines, and marathon weekend was always early.
Mhm.
So a lot of them tend to be in that like 90 to 105, 110 days before the race weekend kicks off.
Mhm.
Marathon weekend has been up to 142, I think, days beforehand that they've announced the medals. So if you look at where we are, 119 or 113, sorry, days until marathon weekend, we're not even in the aberrant stage yet. Where like
Mhm.
it's like we're
Weird.
impatient because we're runners and runners don't know how to be patient. I'm putting myself I'm the call out is coming out from inside the house. So we're not really in the aberrant stage yet, even. But I really hope we have them soon. Soon, I mean, like I got my taste of a medal reveal by getting the Chicago medal while I was
Mhm.
at Disneyland, and like, you know, um,
You're even
you
more
know,
rabid than before.
oh
Even
God.
more feral.
Oh God. Sweet Jesus. We can only you can only handle so many raccoons in this dumpster. I don't have a transition for that. But we were light on Disney news this week, okay? I thought it was just because I was gone and like getting back, I hit the ground running when I got back in for work. But no, it was just kind of light. And the Disney Adventures maiden voyage has been delayed to March 10th of 2026. Supposed
Bad
to
day for
be
travel agents.
oh God. T's and P's. It was supposed to kick off on December 15th of 2025. They say it was due to construction challenges and delays in the shipbuilding process. you've received an email if this affects you. It's got, I believe, 50% off your cruise if you were on that maiden voyage. Um, so I got refunded to you, or can be used as or if like your new bookings don't make sense for you, like you can't make them work. I believe you have about a year to use them, and then otherwise it just gives a full refund. But yep, um, they do be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really do. Um, I'm excited because the Disney Adventure, for context, is the one that will be mostly stationed in Singapore,
Mm-hmm.
and it's supposed to be a really sweet ship. I I don't really. We're still learning, as we learned last week about the Disney Cruise Line over here, but
Mm-hmm.
um, still learning. We are. Thank you, Yoda. Okay. Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique will roll out more simplified packages starting in October 2025 and change the experience slightly. This will apply to both coasts, and the fairy godmother will appear during the experience. And
That sounds good.
yeah, exact details and like pricing hasn't been released yet, but it's going to replace the current packages and be a lot more simplified. So there's currently a bunch of different tiers, and they're going to do away with that and simplify things. So I think that's good. I was like just slightly too old when they started Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, like just like slightly too old for it. Um, and that's because I know I've like talked to my mom. She's like, "Oh, you totally would have done that. You totally, yeah, of course I would have done, or like danced around a little princess dress all day." But like
Mm,
I was just too old for that, because it's your age ranges 3 to 12 years old.
12. They cut you off when you become a teenager.
Indeed, and like honestly, at a certain age, I was a little bit more interested in being feral about the rides. So like, how many times can I go on this, or this one ride? How many times can I go on Splash Mountain at the time? Or how many times can I, well, I'm still like, how many times can I go on Buzz Lightyear? But like that hasn't changed. But like, ooh, 10-minute wait for Big Thunder, say less, you know? So it'd be interesting to be like, I don't know. But exciting for fans of Bibbidi Boppity Boutique. Um, though they said that it will apply to both coasts, we still don't have any news on whether or not the Disney Springs location will reopen ever, for Bibbidi Bobbidi.
I have I mean if they're restructuring to make it so that there are options that are simplified, aka potentially less expensive, hopefully it's not shrinkflation. Um then I imagine that they're trying to work up demand. So I think it
Yeah.
might be a while before we see like an additional location again.
Yeah. I just know that a lot of people are like, oh, that was so convenient. If like we were, I don't know if you think of the Halloween party, if you were going to Mickey's Not So Scary at night, but you didn't have a day ticket, like when to do, like if you want to do the Bibbidi Boppity, you could do it at Disney Springs your afternoon because you want to take the day later and stuff like that, yada yada. But yeah, hopefully this is good for fans of the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. Now it is time for a Disney fun fact or two. On this day in 1984, Restaurant Marrakesh opens in Epcot. I've never eaten there, but I'd like to. It's in Morocco. And then on this day in 1992, singer, songwriter, and actor Nicholas Jerry Jonas, the youngest member of the Jonas Brothers trio, is born in Dallas, Texas. He has lots of accolades. They were very hype on the this day in
Wait,
Disney hit.
sorry, I'm very slow at processing right now. Apparently, did you just say he was born in Dallas, Texas?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because aren't they from? Didn't they when they were like discovered? They lived in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, we're going on a side quest, everybody. Uh,
I mean, I wasn't born in Dallas. I was born in Garland, but like they're very close to each other.
whoa, whoa, whoa! The three brothers. Hashtag sorry, Frankie, the youngest brother who's not part of the trio. Were all born in different states. Kevin was in New Jersey. Hashtag Kevin Queen over here. Joe in Arizona and Nick in Texas.
Well, where was Frankie born?
I am going to find out.
He might be forgotten, but we can't leave him out.
True. He was in Ridgewood, New Jersey. That's what his
Okay.
Wikipedia page says, and I'm going to choose to trust Wikipedia at this point because it's not as pertinent where I need I need a second source.
Yeah. This isn't a research paper. This is a fun pod
No.
with your friend.
Yeah, exactly. It's not AP. We do try to pride ourselves on like being like factual, but I'm not going to pull out the APA formatting for this one. Throwback. Throwback to that.
Oh dear. I'm so glad that I will never have to, well, at least I don't think so, ever have a reason to write a bibliography.
Oh man. Oh man. Cite your source. Wow. Yeah, that just brought back being in high school and college and whoo baby. I'm not gonna even say that I'm never gonna have a reason again because like that sounds like it'll be something that comes back to haunt me. Like I'm not doing Disneyland.
You know when it's going to come back to haunt us? When we have kids that need our help writing bibliographies.
Oh, don't worry.
By
Between me
then,
and
computers will do everything, right?
okay, so there is something to knowing how to properly cite your source
I
without a
agree.
computer doing it. Also, between me and Mr. Natalie, we're two nerds up in this house. We got this. Nerd one, nerd two. Actually, I would be nerd two, I think. We're just, different subsets of nerds. But that's just how it goes.
Mm-hmm. You know what's happier topic than bibliographies?
Pretty much anything else, but what do you have in mind?
Race recap.
Woo!
So tell me about Disneyland Halloween Half. Whole shebang. How'd you get there?
All right.
When did you
Cracks
book your
knuckles.
flight? Sorry. The travel home is the more interesting. When did you book your flight?
Yeah, because I booked the flight to California shortly after I got my bib, which was like a month out, which is like that was pretty good for me because I was impressed with how not expensive it was booking about a month out. So, okay. Um did I book the flight home like about a week before? Yeah, okay. In my defense, there were just things and like the travel of it all, just, that I was in this debate with myself of like how long of a park ticket I was going to do. Cause I was like, oh, I'm going to fly home on Sunday or like midday on Monday. But then that direct flight was way more miles and dollars than I wanted to spend. And also out of LAX. And not that I mind because my flight in the direct was to LAX on the Thursday, so Expo Day. I was willing to do it one way and like had it like been less expensive, I was willing to do it the other way. But also when the opportunity then presents itself to do another day at Disneyland and not have to drive and fly out of SNA, John Wayne instead, and which is a lot closer, you take the opportunity. It's science. But I went to work that day and I ripped a speed workout, went to work, and then went directly to the airport. So it was just one of those days. That's a pretty typical Natalie day. Um, there is one direct flight from Omaha to LAX, which was exciting. So I got to hop off my plane at LAX. No cardigan though. Um, I did land at like a further terminal at LAX and like had to take like a bus to get to like baggage claim and then I had to take a bus to get to Uber pickup.
Wow.
Um yeah, it wasn't too bad cuz my bag came out my bag was the first off of my flight. I have never had
Ooh.
that before. Like I had to like double check my bag, like double check. I'm like, no, that's mine. I felt like I was the chosen one. And but I did since um I had time to get from LAX to Anaheim. Gosh, I think the Uber was like 45, 50 minutes. Really not horrible. John Wayne's a lot closer, but not too bad. So I ordered my water and Powerade to my room And I basically I timed it so well. Basically, it got there, and then I arrived like 2 to 3 minutes later. It was
Wow.
yeah. Because basically what I was trying to avoid was, like, that it was, like, still I mean, I still had, like, or still coming in and, like, it was still, like, 20 minutes away because I really wanted to hit the hay as soon as I got into bed, having done a, like, 7-mile speed workout that morning and,
Mhm.
also the time change and whatnot, but, um, it was nice. But I stayed at the Homewood Suites in Anaheim off of Harbor Boulevard. This is where I stayed for the Disneyland races when they came back in 2024, and I've stayed there before, and, I'm a Hilton girly myself, and, what's nice about Homewood Suites is that they have an included breakfast,
Ooh.
like the Hampton Inn as well. So that was nice. They're very, very nice there. I also picked it for my pool or the pool there because I knew I liked the pool quite a bit from a trip back in 2019 where I when I stayed there and knew I had a nice pool area. So uh, stayed almost like in I thought I had the same exact room as I did and for the Disneyland 2024 races when I saw my room assignment and it was close. It was a couple I was a couple down though. I was like, "Wait a minute, I've stayed here before on the third floor." But not the exact same room. But got into my room, got things, looked at the nice room for like a couple minutes and then all of a sudden the tornado of me happened to the room. I mean, I just, I get my stuff out and like put it where it needs to go. And then, bid then I bid the night adieu and went to bed because I was tired. This is the first time in a while. I obviously haven't gone to the expo on the first day. I got into Anaheim around like 9 o'clock, so it was kind of funny because it was like, oh yeah, the parks are obviously still open right now. Like, I would not waste a park ticket on like an hour, maybe 2 hours. But I was like, this is funny because the parks are still open. As people were walking back, I guess sometimes I've gotten in around like 10, 10:30, 11, and it's like the parks are not open anymore. But anyway, I went to bed, and then the next day was 5K day, and but Expo day for me. I had grand plans of like idea of maybe getting up to go cheer the 5K. I was awake at like 5 in the morning, but with the different limitations over at Disneyland, I knew that I was not getting anywhere fast enough to actually cheer because you can cheer in California Adventure. That's where the finish line is for the 5K at Disneyland, and you can get in by a certain time for free. And I knew I would be cutting it real close. So I just took the time getting ready, enjoyed my hotel breakfast, which was nice. And I got on my merry little way off to Disneyland. By parks open at 8 o'clock, and the expo didn't open till noon, so I knew I had time uh, before I had to go over to the expo. And I was there, like, basically, like, I was there for a rope drop even earlier. And I wasn't sure because I have never made it to Disneyland, like, yeah, I guess not Disneyland Park rope drop before. So my first impression is that they go hard for Halloween there. There is so much Halloween decorations, like,
I'm
every
jealous of their pumpkin.
yes, they have a gigantic Mickey pumpkin. They have like little Mickey, Goofy, Donald, and whatever over like the turnstiles where you check in or you scan in. That was awesome. Um, but yeah, I was like, whoa, they do Halloween here, for sure.
Mhm.
And that was on the Disneyland Park side. So there, a difference with Lightning Lane Multipass
Yes.
is that you can start making your selections as soon as you tap in. So I tapped in at 7:35, and something that's also a little different there is that you when you activate your ticket, which I bought my tickets at my desk during lunch the day before from Undercover Tourist. Um and then I was like, "Ooh, that might not have been smart." But it was fine. Cuz it was like it could take up to 48 hours to process. I was like, "It what?" And then it took like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But anyway, because I couldn't remember because I bought them so far in advance for the prior weekend. But anyway, they take a picture of you and they kind of like verify that against you when you tap into the parks there. They do not have a fingerprinting system. So your just little picture shows up, and they kind of like open little turnstiles for you. It's not even a turnstile anymore. It's like these kind of little like glass like doors.
Mhm.
Um, but walked into the park. I scanned in at 7:35 a.m. Walked down Main Street, and was trying to decide what I was going to do first because then I remembered the lightning lane kind of hack of like as soon as you're scanned in, you can start making your lightning lanes. Because then I remember I flip flopped a little bit between like my ideas of what I was gonna do. Um, Security was really really fast that morning, and then I had this like idea in my head that that's how it was gonna be all the time, and that was sadly mistaken. But it's okay. But I made a lightning lane for Indiana Jones, and then I flopped it to Haunted Mansion Holiday, and then I flopped it back because I kept like switching it back and forth because it was like, oh well, I'm right here, and like I can get there, and like I can, you know, Lightning Lane is really really handy there. I do not regret having it at all. It's very, I mean, not that it's not handy at Walt Disney World, but I feel like it's very very like easy to navigate, very user friendly. You can really kind of like play the game with it. Um, and also context for all of you guys. Um, I kept as much of this from Hannah, like springtime surprise. I kept as much of this from Hannah as possible so that we have like live react. Um,
This is I would just like to point out that having this podcast has changed us in a like that in the past, if we didn't have the podcast, Natalie would have probably been like stream of consciousness telling me all the things. And now she has to restrain herself when she goes on solo weekends to be like, oh, I can't tell Hannah.
it's like I need the reaction. Well, yeah, I stream of consciousness into the notes app on my phone because I'm like, this will help me remember and it will help me get like that like feeling of like telling somebody, but it's just telling the notes app on my phone. But what I did in the morning, all before my Indiana Jones Lightning Lane, because that's what I had decided on, I rode Haunted Mansion Holiday, Small World, Snow White's Enchanted Wish, Pinocchio, Astro Blasters. I'm still bad at the West Coast version. Space Mountain. All before, and my Lightning Lane, I think, was at like 10, 15, maybe. I was cooking. And then it was one of those things where I think I might have sent this message where I'm like, I'm a little too feral for my own good right now. And I was just bopping around because going from Haunted Mansion Holiday to Small World, not a super like, I mean, it's a direct path, but it's not like they're not close. But I knew I really wanted to do Small World because I had missed it when I was at Disneyland last because it was closed to take down their holiday overlay. So that was definitely a big priority of mine. And I had not heard the new closing verse of Small World. Like,
We had
yeah,
covered it on the pod though.
we covered its existence and what the words are, but I get into the last room, kind of like bopping along, and I heard the third verse, and I got a little emotional. Oh, it was like, oh, it's such a nice message of unity with it. So
Mhm.
it was really, really sweet. And I was like, oh.
Darn, do we need some unity in this world?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it was great. And also I was on a boat almost entirely by myself because that's what rope drop there is so interesting because it's just so like uncrowded. Um I mean, granted it was a Friday morning, a lot of runners. I mean, there were runners I saw around, a lot of runners and a lot of people go right to Fantasyland as well. I did not go on Peter Pan because every time I walked by it, it had too long of a late wait for me to want to tolerate. So, if I'm being honest, because it wasn't on Lightning Lane there. So they have some rides that we have on Lightning Lane at Walt Disney World that they don't have on Lightning Lane at Disneyland. But I had my first time at Bengal Barbecue after I went on Indiana Jones, and I got an iced pumpkin chai and chicken skewers. They were tasty. I was glad because they had a lot of seasonal treats uh, around, like hella
Oh,
seasonal treats. So the pumpkin chai, yeah, because those don't kind of go together. But I'm like, ooh, I need some sort of coffee in me.
yeah. But the
But
chicken skewers sound really good.
they were good. They had like a sweet barbecue sauce in it.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, that was a Mammoth Club recommendation. I knew that from one of their snack drafts,
Mm.
or their that they took. Then I got a chiropractic adjustment on the Matterhorn. And actually, I used the lightning lane for it, so I wasn't gonna be in the back because that's where it gets you the worst. um, and I heard as I was like walking around, I heard somebody who was like, "Oh, you want to go to the chiropractor? Matterhorn only has a 15-minute wait." I laughed so hard, um, so hard at that. And as I was leaving the Matterhorn and kind of deciding like what I was going to blip to in Fantasyland, the Disneyland band was walking, and then also I caught Merida, and I've heard this described to me before. I believe actually Kristen Run Fit Mama has described it as like when you see characters at Disneyland, it's kind of like they're just going about their day, and like you just happen to see them,
Mhm.
versus like, oh, this is a celebrity here. Like
Mhm.
Merida will just kind of like bop around, or she was just kind of bopping around. There were a couple other character interactions I had where they were just kind of like literally like roaming. And then the characters do roam there, and they do have like a spot they'll go to so that they can kind of a little queue will form. But it's so different as to how things are in Florida because Florida Man is not there to attack them. So, I was following the Disneyland band, like kind of like they're doing their thing, like walking toward Main Street. I'm just kind of vibing with them, and it was so cool. It's just the way that the characters, and especially, it's just again, it's like you're kind of just like seeing them go about their day and do like their grocery shopping or whatever, like whatever their errands are, whatever Merida does. Um, at this point, it was almost to 11 o'clock, which that's the hopping time at Disneyland. And I was about to go over to DCA. And then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, you need to go to the expo. Why would you do that? Because I was starting to get smart about the fact that, like, hey, you have a 10K to run tomorrow and then a half on Sunday. Um, so I kind of just like flitted around. I took the um I was waiting in line for the Mickey Pumpkin thing, and then that line was kind of moving slowly. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go and take the monorail over to the Disneyland Hotel because the monorail there, it's in Tomorrowland. You get on it there, and it will take you to downtown Disney and like right by or close to the entrance of the Disneyland Hotel. So that is a way that you're obviously have to go then past security there, but you can like stay on the loop and not like pass through security, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Kind of like yeah, the monorail in Magic Kingdom, right? If you get off to go to the Polynesian, then like you have to go back through security, but if you stay on it, it's but the difference being that you're in the park here. So around like 11:20, I decided to go over to the Disneyland Hotel and kind of get ready for the expo to open. Now, compared to my first experience at the Disneyland races, and I don't want to say that, like, in my opinion, nothing was like bad for that. Okay. I came out of the weekend almost 2 years ago of like, that was a lot of fun. I might stick to East Coast races for now, but that was a lot of fun, and I maybe don't need to go do it again for a little bit. LOL, here I am. And yeah, full of ish she is. There are differences, but the expo was one of those things where I remember it took a long time to get through. And I did go on day one of the expo that time versus this time it was day two. So that is obviously a noted difference. But I feel like I felt like some of the confusion I had was like signage, and I felt like that was very much improved. I felt like it really was a pretty well oiled machine. I think they opened the expo about 15 minutes early. Like I was in my bib line like that. Like once they opened up the doors, it was really smooth. They had more decorations and stuff around, more photo things to take pictures with. Um, and I thought that it went relatively smooth, or thought it went really smoothly. I didn't even entertain the idea of going to the Brooks shoe tent. I was marked safe.
I wanted those shoes.
I did hear
I
that
can't wear them
stuff.
though, so it's fine.
So that was my hesitation too, because then I saw so many people with them on. I'm like, oh, they're so cute, but my feet just chew up ghosts too fast. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like you don't want like you literally have to buy your marathon shoes.
Mhm.
So like, no, you're not buying these other ones. Especially while you still have like your other ones you're working through. But um they seem to have a little less stock than they did at Springtime Surprise. I mean, they were limited to a smaller area. So I
Mhm.
heard a little bit more about sellouts earlier of the
Mhm.
different shoe styles. They have been available on the Brooks website for the last couple of days.
A lot of sizes are sold out though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's left?
Like within the first few hours, sizes sold out online.
Yeah, do be that way.
I
That's
usually luck out in that department since I have a larger foot than average for a woman, but again, I can't wear the shoe, so I guess it doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah. So, I think that I heard that was the only really area that I did not go to within the expo, but I was super excited because so when I got my expo check-in pass, I knew I had a low enough bib number that I was they almost certainly took my proof of time. And when I picked up my bibs, I was super excited because I have never been in B for a half marathon before.
I'm
And
so happy for you.
I was so stoked. Um, it's always been C.
Mhm.
It's always been C or it's been B for the because then Disneyland splits corrals, so you can be in one corral for the 10K and one corral for the half. Um, so somebody out there or people out there who were in D and E, their bib said die. As it does. Mine was B and B, so I was bib, which made me laugh too.
Did you feel so proud of yourself? Like, did it feel to me, it seems like such an accomplishment, all the hard work you've done and all the training you've done over the years, and like now, like it's like you've made this step. Like, oh, we're in the bee corral now.
I know. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Especially because, and I guess I didn't actually get to talk about this because kind of this is like an elderly training update at this point. But that speed workout I did before
Hmm.
I left for Disneyland, it was my like cursed, my cursed Thursday one, which is the one that I always kept going 3 for 4 on in terms
Hmm.
of hitting all my paces, and I hit all my paces. I hit
Whoop, whoop.
I hit under all my paces.
This is when you need the Rise and Run PR bell.
Yeah.
Beep boop. I can't
Yeah.
even do it. You know what it sounds like.
Ding dong. Uh, but I was so it was kind of one of those kind of fresh off that sore off that a little bit where I was so stoked. I was so stoked. Um and yeah, it's a manifestation of the hard work that I have put into a lot of this and makes me also super motivated because like I do have to renew my POT this year. Um not only for the whole like maiden name, married name, but also, well, this one I just used my Princess POT because it didn't have to go underneath the 222 for the marathon. So, I had one that worked, but I was like, I was thinking C, so the fact that I was in B was like, so exciting. Um, I went down to the Huluween little Disney Plus Hulu area, and we were a wild woman this weekend, and I'll get to that. But I got because I heard that they had like cups,
Hmm.
and that's
Oh.
what because they don't have like the cider or the
Hmm.
beers, so but they did have Dole Whip, and they had Dole Whip, and you could get tequila in. And let me tell you, I got the tequila in my lime Dole Whip. It was so good, so tasty. It hit.
I like that I heard that you could do it with or without, like,
Yeah,
that's up to you, which obviously is much, better for me because 1, I tend to not drink during race weekends, and 2, don't like tequila.
yeah. But yeah, it basically tasted like an ice cream marg in a way, like like it was
Mhm.
so good, so good. And then I got my little souvenir cuppy out of it, which made me also happy. But I was at the KT tape booth, and they had yellow KT tape. I had to buy it. I also needed a restock.
I don't
Um,
think I've ever yeah, I was like, I'm surprised that yellow isn't a more common color. You would think I feel like you would think that would be, like, a fun color that people would want.
yes. Well, they only had 3 left, so I bought one of them, and then I bought purple. You know, one of the sad things is that I got the polka dot one at Wine and Dine last year, and
Mhm.
I'm almost out of it, and I need more polka dot I need more pink polka dots, but,
Oh.
whatever, that's fine, but I, like basically, I was like, "Hey, like, if I bring these back, like" and I actually never went back to get taped,
Mhm.
um, but I bought it because then also it was a little cheaper than it is at Walt Disney World, which
Oh,
that was
weird
that
that
is
things are
not
cheaper in
something
California.
exactly. Exactly. Where I was like, huh, because it was 2 for 30 versus I feel like it's gone up to 2 for 35 at Walt Disney World, but I know I'm gonna use it.
Mhm.
And I was like, I could put the colors I don't like as much as like the Brawline KT tape, and then
Mhm.
what goes on my feet, and then I can the fun ones are gonna be the visible ones. But um, at that point, when I was at that booth, somebody warned me about like the line got crazy for the Dole Whips for
Mhm.
the Halloween thing. So she's like, it got really crazy like yesterday. She's like, so I would recommend getting in that line now. So I Bugs Bunnied it like, whoo, zoom, over to that line, and I didn't wait very long, like at all, to get my little Dole Whip. But I bop around the expo a little bit. I Another thing that I was really targeting to do was, part of my pre-race ritual, my pre-PR ritual is a conversation with the one and only Jeff Galloway. And I told him, he asked how I was doing. He's like, "How have you been? How was your summer?" I'm like, hot running. And I was like, "Jeff, um unless you're going to be at Chicago, which I don't think you are, we got to do this pep talk a little early." So I legitimately got my pep talk from Jeff Galloway early, and just kind of give me some advice about kind of getting through the last couple weeks of training. So I was like, like some of my long runs just haven't been going super well, and it's been because of the heat. So it's kind of like waiting for things to come together on race day, because when I do dopey and it's cooler out, and I felt like I've had more chances to just kind of like I usually get to taper, and I'm like, yeah, we're doing pretty good.
Mhm.
So he gave me some advice on that, and got my picture. And because I was such a late ad, my name wasn't on my bib, but he signed my bib, so his name was on my bib. But it was good. It was good to talk to him. I got my picture as always. And he said, good luck. I'm like, ah. I was like, Jeff, I'm gonna store this little nugget in my brain because that's gonna stay there. We don't have to simulate it. And I was like, I will have to tell you at Winer Diner Marathon weekend how it went when we chat again. Then I decided to go into the merch line since I went on day 2 of the expo. It was not virtual queued, and went in. They still had pretty good stock on day 2. I also The only thing I knew for sure sold out by the time I got there, because I probably got in that line by 1 o'clock if the expo opened
Mhm.
at noon and I was bopping around doing other stuff. I probably I know that there was like gray tank, I think, for the half that I missed out on. Um, because I saw somebody wearing it when I was at
Not a
Disneyland earlier.
tank.
I know. Don't worry, I got the Chills and Thrills one though. Um, and I don't know. It's one of those things where a lot of people have the opinion of like, if I don't know it exists, I don't know I missed it. And that's
Mhm.
kind of how I feel, is that the only thing I know existed that I missed was that gray tank.
Mhm.
Something that was missing totally though were any kind of coast to coast merch,
Mhm.
including the metal replica, which made me mega regret not picking up the metal replica back in April, because I looked at it and I was like, well, like, what if I do get a bib?
Mhm.
So it's fine. I will acquire one eventually, just like bibs. I'll acquire one.
Mhm.
Or it might be at Wine and Dine, because that'll be the last opportunity to get the coast to coast in the current,
For this calendar year.
yes, the current metal. So, or somebody might be selling it. I don't know. I'll acquire one eventually. And also, little known fact is that I accidentally bought 2 of the suitcase ones from 2024, the one that you
Mhm.
could only get if you did Marathon Weekend and then Disneyland Welcome Back. Um, I still don't know why I bought 2 of them, but I still have the second one, but I'm holding that out for a trade,
Mhm.
a special trade. Like I'm not just gonna trade it for anything. It would be my missing ones. Figment,
Mhm.
Coast to Coast, 2025. What's another one I'm missing? I got the Disneyland D. I
We'll have
got
to go back to our previous episode where you
it's
talked about it.
the Everest one. It's the
Ah.
Expedition Everest 5K one. Yeah. So if you have one of those medals and you need the suitcase Coast to Coast medals, hit me up. At least I didn't buy the Coast to Coast medal I wasn't getting because I truly have no idea. I think I thought I might have been picking one up for someone else. Like I think
Mhm.
I like or maybe one of my friends, and then I realized that they were getting the other Coast to Coast medal,
Mhm.
so it didn't apply anyway. But I did get all my medal replicas. I was very pleasantly surprised. They had plenty of stock of all of them on
Mhm.
day 2 of the expo. I think they're selling less quickly now. They
Mhm.
still do sell out, but they are selling slightly less quickly.
I think they made more as well.
Yes, T God. Uh, because of the Figment incident of 2023,
Mhm.
where a Club Run as Club Run Disney Gold, I'm gonna get on my little like elitist thing here. They were already sold out by the time I got in there.
Mhm.
They shouldn't
Insanity.
they shouldn't be sold out even through Club Run Disney. Like they
Mhm.
should still be have availability and stock for everybody.
Mhm.
So this isn't just a I didn't get mine, but it was like, hey, you should have had more for everyone, especially that purple little effer. Anyway, um, but the expo was lovely. Um, I got to try Noogs for the first time. That's a fuel type. They
I
had
have
Noogs.
oh. Yeah, no, I do know what you're talking about.
They're good.
Yeah?
I liked them. They had the cookies as always. Um,
Oh, I love the
g-
cookies.
got the wafers, and I also got the ones that they gave us on the marathon course. They had some of those that
Those
they
are
were
the
passing
best
out.
ones. You can buy them in a giant bucket on Amazon, guys.
Noted.
Just saying.
And I did kind of deviating from my I guess since I had to talk to Jeff, I did go the Flowell booth, had nobody waiting to do the boots. And those things are magical.
Yeah.
Like so the difference for those compression boots, the guy said he would be at Chicago. And the difference with those is that they do work your glutes. I'm gonna sound like I'm trying to sell it to you for somebody who didn't buy them. Uh I have to work out some HSA things. Because I really like they work your glutes. There's like 8 compression chambers in them. And they like I think I went up to the I don't there were a bunch of different intensities. I probably got about halfway there and whatever and I was like holding on, but it felt so good. Like all that fatigue, like any kind of swelling I would have had from like flying the day I did like a monster speed workout, gone.
Nice. Do they
And the
do
guy
the
was
feet too?
oh, they did the feet. Ho ho. Cause then I mean it was interesting because the guy was asking, he's like, so like basically he's like, if you aren't gonna buy them, like can you let me know why? He's like, I'm not trying to be pushy, I'm just trying to understand like what do I need to know more about? I'm like, honestly, like right now, I was like, I feel pretty sold on the concept. I just need to check the whole like HSA thing. And like I was like, it's like what and he's like, okay, that's understand. And the lady, because then the lady did come up and went into them and too and she's like no like I'm pretty like sold on it I just need to like I also have to figure out my HSA like money
Yeah.
type of thing.
It's a very big purchase, and I don't think a
Yeah.
lot of people are, regularly using their HSA money to make these purchases. I remember when I used mine to buy the treadmill, I was like, "Is this real? Like, am I really allowed to do this? What do I have to do to make sure this is allowed?" And it's a lot
Yeah.
of money.
Yes, they are quite expensive. It was a pretty good deal like at the expo usually like they obviously like to incentivize you to buy and they would have
Sometimes they're,
shipped the
like,
tag
almost
outs.
half off. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. I really liked them. I really want to make time for to see that booth at Chicago. But like it was crazy because it really goes further up. Because really, it like kind of almost. I posted a story. I'm like, I feel like Waluigi right now because I felt like I had overalls on with how far up it kind of went. It kind of like went like almost. I won't say completely like right under my boobs, but like to like kind of like close you in because it really did work. Like the hips, your glutes. It those things were crazy in a good way. More on compression boots later though. And
Don't
my
mind me, I'll just be on their website.
Yeah.
Peeping.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Also,
peeping.
their color is purple.
Duh.
If you didn't need, an aesthetic reason.
This is true.
Also, they're called well, they have boots, but they also have pants. They call them sports mobility pants.
I believe that's the what I put on. If there's 8 compression chambers in there, those are the ones I put on.
Okay.
They have a lot of different, like, kind of like I don't wanna say a lot of different sizes, but a way to adjust the size too. I really sound like I'm going so hard for something that I didn't even buy yet, and, like, I don't get paid for. But they were really cool, and I've never seen them at an expo before. Usually it's Normatec, it's, Therabody, it's like, the other ones, but I've never seen them before, but he said I think they're new to doing the Disney circuit.
Mm.
But he said, he's like, "I do the world majors." I'm like, "I will see you soon." But after that, it was time for me to depart, and I went back to my hotel. I did a lift there so that I could drop off my bib. And since it was getting roasty toasty out there, I went to the pool, which for how hot it was, I was the only one at the pool at
Dang.
like 2:30 p.m. I thought I was a little surprised. Eventually, like I think like 15, 20 minutes after like I was there like alone, some other actually it was probably more than that, probably about half an hour of me being there alone, some other people came in. And I was like, okay, like not like good because like it's not my business if like people want to swim or not, but I was like, I am like dying in the heat, not dying because it wasn't really that bad. It is a dry heat for the most part. Uh More on that later. But enjoyed some pool time because I was also kind of determined to relax a little bit more. Um, you know, vacation. You take the vacation days, you want to relax maybe a little bit. But, I made sure I did some swimming. And something I didn't mention is again, not like any kind of sponsorship here, is that I had my little even more magic fanny pack. And let me tell you, everybody, I am so glad we live in a world where fanny packs are back in. Like, why did they ever go out? Because let me tell you, having all my stuff right around there was so nice.
Mhm.
Yes, when I was carrying around like a water bottle later, then I did bring my drawstring, but like everything just being right there was so nice, like contained right there. I don't have to worry about my pocket. Like, what if my pocket's like a little slippery today? My phone goes bye bye. No, it was all right there. It was awesome. And I
Mhm.
had my little bow on, which I kind of like am obsessed with the
Adorable.
bow. I am obsessed with the bow. And
Natalie's
I
gonna
felt
be a bow
girly.
girly now.
I felt so girly and cute and like I don't know, I loved it. I loved it. Also glitter. Basically my room was covered in glitter and I loved everything about it. Like between my unicorn snot sunscreen and my miles of shimmer glitter, like I was just living.
Mhm.
That is peak Run Disney for me. Um I then decided because so I went to the Crowned Athletics pop-up and they implemented a virtual queue for the first time this time. And I'm not gonna lie, it was this is probably a skill issue, but I had a hard time finding where the link was for the virtual queue. um and then one thing is that like you kind of had to be pretty actively monitoring it, which it makes sense. Like it's their first time doing a virtual queue for one of their pop-ups. So um you had to pretty much be actively monitoring where you were because then it's like, "It's your time. Please return in 10 minutes." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
10
Like,
minutes.
yeah, I was like, "I am still at the pool." And, like, it wasn't like you didn't get a warning saying, like, "Oh, you're probably gonna" there wasn't really a way for you to be like, "I'm, like, probably an hour out." Right? Where, but again, I don't expect as sophisticated of a virtual queue as Disney has for the first time a small business has one. Okay.
Mhm.
So, like, I'm not trying to be, like, nitpicky, whatever. I was just like, "Oh," like, that was, like, some feedback. I was like, "It would be nice if," and I understand why it wasn't in place, but it would be nice for planning if. But I did go to the Crown pop-up, and, I went around, like, 3:45. It, ended at 5. It was at the JW Marriott, and, I was very interested in some of the well, they definitely had, like, 50% off bargain bins. They also had, like, collections and such, and I got a darling duck long sleeve or athletic tank or top, not tank, that I have never seen before. I mean, I've only seen in like the reseller pages because they had I could not tell. There's got to be crown historians out there who know like the timing of when like that got released. But I was so stoked because the Daisy Duck stuff is so freaking cute. And then I tried it on to make sure because like I was like, I think this will be too, or the one size will be too big, and the other, but it like fit like pretty much just right. I really now what I know now because they have the 50% off sale online. I really wish that I had tried on some other things because I've been like sitting around like I don't know what size I should be for. um, I was like, I should have freaky. I saw the skirts right there. I should have tried one on. But I also was like, there was kind of like a line for tryout too, and I was just thinking, I'm like, I want to try this one thing that I'm buying on, and then I bought
Mhm.
two other things too, but they were flows, so I know what size I am with that. Or like at the bra, I'm like, I should have tried them on. It was literally all right there, but you know,
I do think their size chart for the bras is fairly accurate if you're, like, questioning. The
my
skirts
thing.
are fairly accurate as well, as long as you are not, uh, like, super curvy, and by curvy, I do not mean, like, just not stick straight. I just mean if you have, like I do, where there's quite a large difference between, like, your hip measurement and your waist measurement kinda curvy, where you don't fit, like, standard proportions or whatever. Because then I have the problem where like my waist fits perfectly, but the shorts are too big or too loose or whatever.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, I bought ordered one, so we're gonna see what happens there. We'll see. So hope it fits. But I was so mad at myself. I'm like, you should have tried something more on. But like I had I was like, I'm not really kind of in the market. And then it's like, well,
Well, now suddenly I am.
yeah. So I took my acquisitions back to my hotel, which it wasn't a far walk, to go back to mine. And then around this time, as I'm dropping my crown stuff off, I send a message to our big group chat, and I'm like, I feel like misbehaving today. And I'm like, it's I no, like, like I don't have to get up quite as early for a Disneyland race, and I'll get to why that is. I was like, I don't have to, like, I'm not kind of here for the vibes this weekend, like, no rules. So I get to California Adventure, and actually I get to the security line at 5 p.m. and it's 5 p.m. on a Friday, so I recognize it's 5 p.m. on a Friday. That's, locals are, coming out. And the security line is long, and my resolve to be like, no rules, disappears pretty quickly. And I've like kind of been stacking lightning lanes and stuff throughout the day, though. I had so many near misses with Incredicoaster. I did not end up getting on Incredicoaster at all during the weekend because every time I had a lightning lane for it, it was like then down and then sad. But I made one for Mission Breakout. Kind of just strolled around DCA. I love DCA. And again, my whole like resolve of no rules. I then get I'm like walking to Pixar Pier because that's around. I literally like as I'm walking to Incredicoaster, it's when it's going down. Um, and I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. So I meet Sadness on Pixar Pier, and she is so funny. Like she did the little saddest like hand wave, like when she was saying goodbye to me. Like it was so
Hmm,
funny. And we did our little frowny face and then our happy and well, I did a happy face. Um, I did the inside out emotional whirlwind ride.
nice.
That
I,
was that it's cute. That's cute. Um, I don't think I need to do it again for a minute, but it was cute.
oh,
Yeah, I mean it's cute. It's like almost like a little Dumbo-esque ride. You don't get to control like how up and down you go, but
okay.
it's cute. And then because I'm starting to poop out at this point, I then go get myself some dinner at Smoke Jumper's Grill, and then I'm done. So the resolve to misbehave, see nighttime show tonight, no rules. No, I was tired. It was time to go to bed. Well, actually, I did do Mission Breakouts. I can't believe I almost skipped over that. Sorry, but I did do Mission Breakout, and if you haven't picked up on this with the whole like last minute nature of this whole thing, um, in terms of like holiday or like ride overlays and stuff for the Halloween, didn't look into that except for Haunted Mansion Holiday because I knew that one. So, did I know there was a Monsters After Dark for Mission Breakout? Mission Breakout is Tower of Terror with Guardians themed. No. And no, not at all did I know. And I get in, I'm like, "Ooh, this is like," and I noticed when I make the lightning lane that it's like Monsters After Dark. I'm like, "Okay, whatever, I don't know." And whatever. It's like spooky, creepy. It's so cool. Like I already love that ride. Like
Mhm.
a lot. Like that's one of those just like, oh, it just really gets you. But like they changed the pre-show, they changed the premise that like all the monsters are out and like you're basically bait to get them out.
Mm.
And like versus the other storyline of the tour is that like you're going on a tour of the collector's museum. Rocket the raccoon has broken out of his cage and like you're helping him because you have security clearance to open doors so that he can break all the rest of the guardians free. And then you go boo, bumped up and down. But after that, after I was literally shooketh, because it was so cool, then it's night time because I needed to go to bed after a pretty full day of Disneylanding. Onto Z10K. Something new for this, well, at least that they had water and fruit and snacks up at the front desk of my hotel. So that was really nice. They had like granola bars and such, which I thought was a really, really nice touch for them for the runners. So got up not as ungodly early as normal. And the reason why I say that is that, and I see this as a pro, there's not quite as much to do in the parking lot pre event as there is in Florida. They have like different cutouts for photo ops. They don't have photo pass until after the races. They don't have characters. There's not parking lot ciders. There are food trucks. So there's a little less to do. And also your corral is there, get released all at once. So it might take like a minute and a half, 2 minutes to like for all of B to go, but like all of B will go at once. And then they wait 5 minutes to then send the next one normally. So there is less reason to get there early. So I got there around 3:45 in the morning and I still felt like I had a ton of time. Like a ton of time. I got pictures. There was like a little like finish line op that was cute and there was a um there's like all this other like kind of like pop-up things. Like I liked it. I thought it was great. Um they had like more video screens to kind of show like what the little like pre-show stuff was going on. And it's very accessible, like you can kind of see the finish line right there, but it was great to just be kind of back in the zone and back in run Disney time because it was like going into my corral. I'm like, oh, we are so back, baby, we are so back. um it Of our East Coast announcers, just Carissa. But I do like the other ones that they have out there too. My boy Tetris was doing a lot of trivia in the back of B, which I didn't realize until the half day or half morning, and I was kind of then an NPC in the back of some of those because I was trying to get more steps in before. Okay, anyway, but this was a Cruella Deville themed race, so I, like many others around me, was a Dalmatian, and this was such a fun race. This was the course I was jonesing for, and I was like, "Oh, I really wish I could do that." And I did. But it's so much park time. You basically cover like the whole park. Um, and the production value for Disneyland is incredible. Um, I just think it's fantastic. Um, and oh,
We're
sorry,
just reviewing the notes. No
we
one.
are we are reviewing the notes to make sure I didn't miss anything because I saw Shanda while I was waiting for
Hi,
a
Shanda.
when I was waiting for a picture, I was like, wait, there's definitely something else there. And then I met a new listener and we talked about an upcoming idea we have for the pod. And I was like, well, I host a Run Disney podcast. And she's like, well, can I be on? Like, if I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
If you've ever
So
wanted to be on the pod, it's really that simple.
yes, come in stacked with ideas. But yeah, no, we were having a conversation in the line, and so I will be reaching out. Uh, but it was so much fun. It was just, I don't know, it was just seeing people. Like, it's just that feeling of like school. Security was very smooth. I had noted prior that, like, like the point where like I got like wait, I had to get wanded down because my bra strap was setting it off for like the 2024 races. A lot smoother this year. They do like check. They always a very brief glance at my waist pack. It was very, very smooth. I think that they definitely took the while still like, keeping us safe, they definitely took the feedback from prior weekends about like about that. They did have a couple reminders about race etiquette while we were waiting in the corrals, like less than 10 minutes to start. That was notable enough for me to write down in my notes app. And one thing I thought that audio and like stuff was great, but that's also a Corral B opinion. So if you feel like, because I know in the past they've had some complaints about like you can't hear anything if you're back in I or G and they don't have screens and stuff like that. So let us know, because obviously I only have my own experience having been in B where I was close to the start line for the pre-show. So please let me know. Um Something that was really cool was that it was a fully female contingency for World Disney. All the racers were
What?
female. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Girl boss queen Carissa was like, yes, like we have a fully female contingency of World Disney athletes.
That's super cool.
It was really, really cool. So kind of getting to the race just, oh my God, it was so much fun. Your first mile, like you kind of are going, you're in the streets of Anaheim. So you have some cheer opportunities. And then you run down and then you basically go the back way into Disney's California Adventure. Kind of how it works is that like Disneyland's here, California Adventure's here, which is not great for a audio podcast, but Disneyland's north, California Adventure's south. And they're kind of like in like a square of the Disney bubble. But you go into behind California Adventure and you're backstage for a little bit, and then you enter the parks into Radiator Springs, which they had lit up with. Radiator Springs Racers is closed.
Oh.
It's down for refurb right now, but they had lit up with like spooky Halloween colors.
That's fun.
So freaking cool. They had, and then also all the lights there. That is like, I didn't make it to any of the like when they light Radiator Springs for the night. I don't know if I've ever made it to them, if I'm being honest with you. But all the lights, like when they turn the lights on, like all the lights are so cool. It's so like they had spooky decorations up because that's where Oogie Boogie Bash, their Halloween party, occurs in Disney's California Adventure. So it's all like decked out for Halloween, even though there was not an Oogie Boogie that overlapped the weekend. But they had like spooky Mater, like spooky Lightning McQueen and their like little Halloween get-ups, and so freaking cool. They had I want to say that PhotoPass was definitely better this weekend. I feel like in terms of like number of photographers at character stops, there were still things where it was like either selfie mode or you have to pull your phone out for it. Like some of the cutouts like backstage did not have PhotoPass there. But I would say that there were definitely a lot more pictures. One thing I'd say is that some etiquette was not as great this weekend in terms of people like very much slowing down, like almost to a crawl right in front of PhotoPass to like get their picture while running, to the point where PhotoPass was yelling at them, which I thought was deserved because I almost tripped over them. Because like it's one thing, like everyone does it. Like I can't say I'm running full bore like when I'm running past a green tent, but if you're on the left, you need to not slow down almost to a stop, especially when you have a runner or like other runners behind you. That's for your safety and theirs, because again, I almost tripped over people several times because they were almost slowing to a crawl. And like I get it, we all want to get our pictures and stuff like that, but like please don't stop. Thank you. But anyway, we went through DCA. We went onto Pixar Pier. The Mickey's Wheel of Death, the Ferris wheel, was lit up like Halloween colors. So it was
Ooh.
orange at times. It was flashing like green and purple and so freaking cool.
Ugh.
They had photo pass. You like ran onto Pixar Pier and then that I got a picture like on my phone and then like as you were coming out of Pixar Pier, kind of like almost like a loop, there were actual photo pass there and they had a couple kind of like in front of the Magic Kingdom Castle where they had a couple at a time. So like you could stagger. They also for every race had a character up on the stage near Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the rescue. And Cruella was out for this one. I'll get to who was out the next day. Was not at the 5K, so I don't actually know. I am dying in FOMO because Wanda was out for the 5K, the Scarlet Witch, and I'm fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I didn't find her at this weekend, and it's fine. I guess I just have to go back. But wow, twist my arm, man. Weird. But then you ran across the Esplanade over to Disneyland, and a rundown Main Street. So good, so good. They had projections across like kind of like puppy themed like projections like across the buildings of Main Street and you do just such a nice loop around the park. I remember I was very much dilly-dallying, like dilly-dallying to the point where I did have to kind of be like, how far away are the balloons right now? I like basically like some of the pictures that I got, I basically ate my whole like or a lot of my buffer, which was fine. I had no problem with actually kind of like hustling when I was running, but like some of the pictures I got, I like really wanted. Like the castle photo, I really wanted. Something in front of the partner statue, I really wanted. The Mickey pumpkin, I really wanted. So, but it was like, oh, we got 20 minutes before they actually get here. We're good. But it was just such a fun race. I felt like cast members really cheery and stuff like that. And like it's not something I noticed really that much as an absence before. Like they were, but they had third shift custodial as like a whole squad cheering backstage. That was awesome. And yeah, it was just such a fun, magical race. I absolutely love the medal. I did stay to the end of the race and I heard them welcoming in the final finisher with like a nice, I don't want to say instrumental because they had the lyrics of Go the Distance, but it was a nice like soft Go the Distance. And
Mm.
let me tell you, girlie was crying in the club. Like I'm like, this is so beautiful. Like it was really, really nice. It was really, really sweet. I'm like, this should be illegal. Why am I feeling things? Uh, but it was wonderful. It was, my first race back to Run Disney after a long summer away. And it was amazing. I had so much fun. Me dressed as a very unique costume of a puppy. Just kidding, because there were puppies everywhere. Because Carissa was trying to count if she had like 100 Dalmatians in each corral. And she's like, yeah, I think we got it. But it was so fun. So much fun. Something that I did was before I went back to shower, I went and tapped into DCA so that I could start like stacking the lightning lanes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was waiting for open. I was kind of sitting along Hollywood Boulevard and went right to Mission Breakout. I made a lightning lane for Goofy Sky School, which I basically was just kind of making so that I could access later ones like later because Goofy's Sky School is like Primeval Whirl, rip in peace, from Dinoland, rip in peace. And I just kind of wander my way over and then I knew because I was going back to my hotel that I got churro toffee to go. The churro toffee, it's at Bing Bong's on Pixar Pier, is so good. So good. It's incredible, actually. I had to make sure I brought home some good peace offerings for Mr. Natalie. Also my boss. But I made sure because I knew I was gonna because I didn't want to break any of it because if I was gonna like peace offering for someone else to so I got it there. I got that and then I went to Smoke Jumpers, got myself a little breakfast Sammy and some iced coffee, and then it was time for me to go back and shower and returned to DCA right around like hopping time. But I did decide to go right to DCA. I went to Grizzly River Run first, which was definitely a choice It was a choice. Grizzly River Run is like Cali River Rapids on the East Coast. So yeah, my first ride post shower, I decided to get on a water ride where you get wet. Actually, I didn't get all that wet, to be honest, but it was also hot, so I didn't really care if I did. And here's where Wild Woman was left unsupervised because I got a walk up to Lamplight Lounge on Pixar Pier.
Ooh.
Lamplight Lounge is fantastic. And I had myself a lovely little afternoon or mid afternoon at the bar where I had a couple beers. I had a delicious peanut butter stout, and I was just socializing with my neighbor. Because then I was gonna like maybe get some food, but then nothing like looked like good, and I don't know. I wasn't like hungry really enough to justify that, or like And so cardinal rule of you don't drink the day before the half broken. Boom. Which yeah, I think some of the happy messages I was sending made that obvious. I also did get a roadie, so I was able to break out my even more magic koozie, which made me happy. I did meet some listeners.
Eee! The most exciting part of every Run Disney weekend, really.
Exactly. And I'm just like rolling around, got my beer in my hand, like happy little camper. And then I hear, "Are you Natalie?" Like,
Why, yes,
and
I might be. Who are you?
and yeah, it was two listeners who are sisters. The rest of their family,
Oh.
they were like training for their first half marathons and like getting ready for, and they were like talking about how much like the podcast meant to them and how much it had helped them with training. And I already am inebriated, so I am like crying behind the glasses a little bit and like not actually. I'm like, oh, let me hide my beer for this picture. And not in a
Back
sorority.
to
I'm not.
sorority days.
Or like, I'm not going to the standards over one beer in my hand at almost 30 years old. But it was so, so, so impactful and so sweet. And it made me so happy and warm and fuzzy inside. Um, it,
Hello.
it made my day, honestly. Um,
We're so happy any and every time you guys share that we've had an impact. We just do this because it's fun and we like talking to each other and stuff, but it's so rewarding to know that it
yes.
means so much to you guys too.
Yes, absolutely. I did have a lightning lane for web slingers too. And
Ooh,
um,
Ben will be jelly.
that was such a fun ride to do. Um, a little in the pocket. I'm not gonna lie to you, like it's already fun. As you're like, because basically what you do is like it's kind of like Toy Story Mania as a concept, but like you use your hands, like your hands, like
Nice.
you are shooting webs. So
Oh,
let me tell you, did I have fun? Did I do super well? No, but did I have fun? Yes, yes, I did. Whee!
I think once I tell Ben about that opportunity right there, I will never have to do any convincing ever again that we should go to Disneyland because his favorite character is Spider-Man.
You know what I also caught for the first time that I did not catch last time I was at Disneyland? The Spider-Man show.
Ah!
So I saw the Spidey animatronic go.
Whoa.
So freaking cool.
That's
Like,
wild.
and it's the show itself is so well put together. Like when like kind of you go from actor to animatronic back to actor,
Mhm.
it is so cool. And then like it kind of like starts, then he goes down and then he does a meet and greet too. So cool. I did not spend enough time in Avengers Campus. I spent a good amount of time there, but I did not spend enough. Besides when I was like peeking up, like, Wanda, where are you, Wanda? Mommy Wanda. But so amazing. Then it's kind of getting a little later in the afternoon, and I wanted to make sure I hit the Rise and Run meetup. So I go over, blip into Disneyland real quick, get an ice cream float, and then I go to the Rise and Run meetup. And again, I'm in happy mode here, and somebody literally drew a map of how to get to the meetup area, and that was so helpful. And I was like, this is not sarcastic, this is this is so helpful. Like it's really not, like it's like, no, this is awesome because it's like basically in a shaded like corner in a way.
Mhm.
which really clutch spot, like kind of a picnic bench area. But I stayed there for quite a while. I had some lovely conversations with people. It was so happy, the West Coast Rise and Run headquarters of Alan and Grace, the legends. It was so nice to just be among like friends. And then the best thing ever that could have happened there happened. Okay. Somebody was asking, I have two cheeses. Who wants them?
Ah!
I had cheese bequeathed to me. Best day ever.
Plastic cheese, to be specific.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not
Oh,
just random piece of cheese.
can you imagine if someone just like, how like people were like throwing cheese at their babies for a while,
Yeah,
like
I
for a
was like,
TikTok
could you
trend,
imagine if someone just gave you a Kraft single out of nowhere?
and just whipped it at my head, and I just to see if it stuck. But no, I was very, very stoked. It was a good time, very good time. It was great. The cookies were delicious. It was so great talking to people and just um, we made fun of Bob in a way, the Bob Gurr uh, thing, but at Alan's request. But it was so great. And then I did have to go back to the expo because one of the tanks that I did buy when I tried it on at home, I did not like the fit of. And by home, I obviously mean my hotel room, but it was way too big, even though I had or I had grabbed a small. And I had tried to return it at a gift shop, and they said they weren't sure because it was a special event. They were told they couldn't accept it. I'm like, oh, that's okay. I wasn't going to argue with them when the expo was still open. And plus, I kind of wanted to go back anyway. And it's a rare moment when I don't go back to the expo. And here's where, and I'm not intending go. I go in, I make my return. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with it. I just didn't like how it fit. They're like, okay,
Mhm,
great. And I do wander back around, and like by this point, the shoe ornaments are all gone. By this point, like we're a little thinner on merch, but
mhm.
really still not that bad. And by this point, I have no intention of sitting down in the boots again, but one of the other booths was open, like completely open. Like they had a couple empty seats. I'm like, okay, I'll go take one of them. I fell asleep in the boots. Like I was kind of like nodding a little. I'm like, I'm not gonna fall asleep. And then all of a sudden, my time in the boots was over, and I was like startled to wake up. I was passed out cold in the boots. Literally, good night, moon, night, night, Natalie. I was asleep.
Now, I would just like to ask, do you think it's more embarrassing to fall asleep in the boots or more embarrassing to fall asleep on a bus?
Well, see, there's witnesses to one and not the other. Um, and I should have just had my shades down and just really leaned into it, but I didn't. No, it was just glitter on my face, like conked out as one does. But yeah, I woke up a little disoriented, and the expo's closed at this point. But yeah, I had had my 30-minute little nappy nap, and I'm like, it is time for me to go. Um, I had thought I would maybe go back to the parks. No. I did get dinner at the Broken Spell Lounge at the Disneyland Hotel. Kind of felt bad because I was sitting at the bar and I'm like, I'm not drinking anymore. It's no. But I got some apps, and then I headed back to my hotel. I was asleep by 5:30.
Dang.
Me tell you. I'm not saying I'm always going to break my no beer rule, but let me tell you. Good night, moon. I slept so great. I slept like a full 8.5 hours before I got up the next morning for the half marathon. I woke up fresh as a freaking daisy. It was great. I was alive. I felt so good. And like I, I don't know. I felt great. I also like I was making sure I was making sure to stay hydrated. It was hot. Something I hadn't mentioned is that actually it was humid there. But you're
Mhm.
like, "Natalie, it's not humid in Southern California." Let me tell you, it was humid. It was humid enough that the pace groups all stepped back.
Mhm.
They stayed in their corrals, but they stepped back in intervals. So the 215 pacers became the 230 pacers because of the humidity. Because humidity is so rare in Southern California, And let me tell you, as a girl who complains about the humidity all the damn time, it was humid. I was sweaty. It was humid. Caked. But it was half marathon morning, and I woke up, got myself glittered and ready. I was Megara today, so actually something that I didn't even intend to do and then realize until like the day before was I had worn this same costume for the princess half in February, which
Mhm.
was Aurora, and then I wore it for the Maleficent half at Disneyland, which was Maleficent. Yeah, Maleficent.
Mhm.
So I wore the same costume on both coasts for like a similar vibe. So that
That's a
was not
fun
really.
coast to coast checkbox you can do. No.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Never really did not plan it that way. Just went cool. It's on theme, and I already have all the pieces. Great,
Mhm.
love that for me. So half marathon morning. I get there a little bit later this morning. I mean, a little bit later for me, I should say. I get to it was a little bit after 4 at this point, and like I said earlier, I am determined to get as much of my 20 miler done. If I were more motivated, I might have like actually tried to run a little bit, but like like maybe been a little bit more intentional. But I get into my corral. I kind of am like, again, I'm like putzing around, so like I am like an NPC in the back of like the camera of this or doing the Disney trivia to like before like the pre-show type thing. Because and I probably was like freaking somebody out because they were like, what are you doing? Like because I was just like walking in circles, but because really like the corrals there, because all the corrals are back to back. So it goes A is slotted, then B's right behind it, then C, then D, etc. So they only have so much space. So they're like, you need to all squish forward so that more people can get into your corral. I didn't notice an overflow problem though. Like in terms of like I know in the past sometimes it's like it was full and you had to go somewhere else. Um, but yep, that was great. We got off to the a good start on the half marathon, and the Maleficent that they had out was so committed to character. Like Girly was in character the whole time. Well, I mean, okay, yeah, she would be, but like she was definitely like it. This is like Broadway level performance at 4:45 in the morning. Like, yes, queen. Due to the aforementioned humidity, which was 94%, by the way,
Dang.
94. That is a lot for a normal place,
That's high for everywhere.
much less Southern California. Um, but they were sending us out more quickly. Being in B Corral, they started sending us out. I think it was about every 2:30 to 3 minutes. So I think it was 3 minutes actually. I think that's when they started getting my corral out. Um, but they definitely because there the intervals are about 5 minutes between, so 5:05, 5:10. Here, I don't think I started till close to 5:05, but they were starting to because I was toward the back of my corral, but they were starting to get us out earlier with the heat and humidity in mind. Um, get the race started, and it's just pure magic. It's I mean, you run into Radiator Springs, you do your lap on Pixar Pier. I stopped for Lotso um, from Toy Story, so I've never seen him out before. And I was here for the vibes. My first few miles were absolutely vibe miles. And my idea is that I'm going to, once I get to the streets, like I got nothing better to do than just whip. So I legitimately like because when I get to the staging area, they have Club Pain and Panic, where they basically have it was really cool. They had like 4 like areas that you could stand, and they had Panic rotating between them where they were kind of just like dancing, and like they would kind of go from like person to like like left to right, person to person, and then they'd take a picture, like they would pose for the picture. But it was a really efficient way to do like character like that where
Mhm.
they didn't have to move all that much and like you kind of swapped in and out. I thought it was pretty genius, and Corella was probably like that, but I didn't stop for that one. I had like gotten in line. I'm like, I just got her recently, so now I'm
Mhm.
good. But Pain and Panic were so good, especially when you're dressed like Meg. And I'm like, okay, like this is
Mhm.
perfect. But it was awesome. I waited so long for that line though. Uh, It was like over a full hour by the time that I got to the 5K mark from
Whoa.
starting. Vibes and a potty break, but vibes. That is what we were here for. Um, but you run through the castle, you run through Toontown, you run a little bit backstage, and it was so just magical and wonderful. There were so many character lines. By the time I got to most stuff, I didn't have any risk of like cutoff lines. I know that that
Mhm.
was something that they did have cutoffs a little early, um, where like Mickey and Pluto and whatnot. But I know that was one of the more controversial character cutoffs, but yeah, it was awesome. The park miles went by pretty quickly, but then you were at the 10K mark by the time you went out onto the highway or the roads. So you exit behind Disneyland Park, you go up onto the overpass, really like the only like true incline like on the course. And then I was just like, here we go. But I honestly had so much fun during this half marathon because once you got, you loop kind of around, and then basically I think by mile like 7.5
Mhm.
ish is when you kind of can see the other part of the course that's coming back. So like the out and back.
Mhm.
And by that point, it's fun, right? You're seeing other people in costumes and in their Run Disney Best, and you're cheering for them. They're cheering for you, and like you're running like parallel to each other. And it was a lot of fun. They had the Mighty Duck out, even though we didn't run past the Duck Stadium. Took a picture with the duck. I was very excited about that. Um, did get me a character photo out on the streets of Anaheim. Ran past Crown Crew while I was wearing a Crown shirt, so like I like got to wave like they're are nice and hype. I wore a Tomorrowland Productions skirt. And Steph, the owner, she like kind of ran up to me as like I'm running one way, she's the other. She's like, "You're wearing my skirt. Do a twirl." And I like stopped, did a twirl. But what I did is I got out to the highway and I cooked. Um,
Like, I would just like to point out, when she says she cooked, it looks like she's cheated in her time splits. She didn't, just to be clear. Very, very clear she did not. She was just lollygagging in the parks and then actually running later.
Yes, like for full transparency, it took me an hour to get to the 5K mark. Yeah, that comes down to like a 21-minute mile. And then as I continued to lollygag, it was around like a 15 something. And then when I get between 6.2 and 9.3, we were in the 12s, which, my intent was to take a modified race pace.
Mhm.
Um, because it was hot and humid, so I wasn't going like full bore race pace. But I get to the 15K mark, and visions of Data Man pop in my head. And I'm like, couple four-letter words. I need to keep this pace up or I'm going to look like I did something naughty. But no, I'm honestly like it came kind of easy, and again with having had some more difficult long runs in the last like couple of weeks, like the fact that I was able to kind of bust out and like have like really solid running for like that those 7 miles of the half was great. I was like, yeah, queen, like go off, queen. The water, it was really really well supported. They, I believe, had 9 water stops, but I felt like everything was really well supported. It was nice because like on those there was I think one or two places where you kind of came back around and like they would give you some water too if like you were coming on the like other side of the water stop. um but really well supported. um and just really like like especially once you got to like your turnaround point, it's like okay, let's go. Like we're like it just the vibes were so great. They had DJs, they had people with their dogs, they had somebody from the 501st out, like the free hugs bring Star Wars races back. It was awesome. I don't do a lot of road running, so like that is my perspective of like, yo, this is so cool. I got to yell at a lot of people like, I love your dog,
Aw.
because I saw lots of cute little doggies. It was fantastic. And then, when I was the one kind of coming back from from the turnaround point, and then I saw runners, I was the one cheering for them. It was great. Had a little bit of a not so great experience because somebody passed out not too far in front of me on the course, and I immediately like stopped to help because of course I did.
Mhm.
Um And I gave them my cooling towel. I'm like, I don't have water to put on it right now. But someone else had water, and then like she was telling her friends to go on. And then like there was a Run Disney official there, and they're like, okay, medical's almost here. And like one of the balloon ladies stopped
Hmm.
also to kind of try to help. And they're like kind of they kind of politely the Run Disney officials look kind of politely like, okay, like we got it from here. Like he's like, medical's almost here, and like I saw them coming up.
Mhm.
But yeah, I hope she's doing okay. I thought about her for really the rest of the race because I think I was around like mile like 11 and a half or something like that.
Mhm.
I had plenty of time, and like obviously like I wouldn't, even if I didn't have that much time, I would stop to help somebody because
Mhm.
that's what the sport is about. It's about caring for your fellow runner, and more so than it would be about me running like a mid half, like for all intents and purposes. Yeah, I was able so I hope she's doing all right. But it's kind of cool if you've never seen like, and it's obviously this is cool to see if you're on this side of the caravan where you have like 5 miles or 4 miles on somebody. But like when you see the caravan of like how they pick up after the races, this isn't the first time I've seen this. During my first marathon, I saw like the trucks and the way they pick up the signs and like the mile marker signs and stuff like that. I was leaving Animal Kingdom as that caravan was coming through. It's really interesting. Like go they really go for it. It's really, really interesting. But like just the whole like procession of like things to pick up the water tables, pick up this, pick up that. Yes, there's a bunch of golf carts and like buses for the sag bus. So definitely kind of interesting to see. Obviously, that's more interesting from my perspective of I'm far away from that. Like I can see it, but I'm far away from it in mileage. But I don't know. I like logistics. I like kind of seeing how like the sausage gets made in a way. But didn't have all that much of the streets of Anaheim to go. Kind of, it was awesome to see more and more crowds kind of still out there. And like you have some repeat crowds and, tapped a lot of Mario power up signs, which was awesome.
Those are the
And kind of,
best.
oh, they're so great. I whack them every time.
I especially enjoy when small children are holding them.
Oh, yeah.
They just seem to get an extra kick out of it more than other adults.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like I'm definitely tapping the mushroom for the power up. But got closer and closer into the finish. Kind of coming down the streets. You kind of come down the street right by where you just started the race. Right, you pass kind of this. You don't pass through the start line, but you pass the start line on your way in, and then you just kind of I don't know, kind of just ripped it into the finish. Gave Jeff Galloway a big old high five on my way in, and then finished the race. Finished my coast to coast. Finished my 11th half marathon, which was awesome. And had a lot of fun doing it. And I kept around that pace so it didn't look like I was a naughty. As I think of Data Man, I'm like, the
We were
believability
thinking of you,
index on this,
Brian.
the believability index on this is low.
I literally told her, I was like, we should submit this.
Yeah, I'll
See what
send
he
you my.
thinks, where you fall in the ratio.
Where do you sit on the Strava? Or like not the Strava. Or like, here's my map. I did do this. I promise you. But yeah, it was just kind of like one of those because that's how I hit my PR at Disneyland in 2024. My PR at the time because I really, really ripped it from the 10K to the 15K mark, and I go F. But anyway, I get some photo ops. They do have photo pass cast members in the parking lot too now, which is awesome. They don't have I did it signs, but they do have like backdrops and stuff, which I thought was awesome. And then I decided that I'm not really in a hurry to go anywhere slash finish out my 20. So I decide to cheer the finish line. And let me tell you, my woo days, I'm a little out of practice. I gave myself a sore throat
Oh no.
because I was hooping, hollering, yelling, as if I knew most of the people coming across. No, but then I'd be like, okay, where's your runner? Like and then there actually was a dad who his daughter was running her first half marathon, and oh, did I hoop, holler, squeal for her like I've known her my whole life. Hype person. I like apologize. I was like at some point, I'm sorry, I'm being a little annoying right now to the people near me. They're like, no, we like this. But then one of our listeners ran by, Christine, and let me tell you, if you thought I lost my mind in the other ways, oh boy, I was like, Christine. I definitely caught her off guard a little bit, but I was bouncing, hooting, hollering. Yeah, I gave myself a sore throat and I lost my voice a little for a couple hours because I had so much fun cheering the finish line. I saw, all the Galloway pace groups that passed, I hooted and hollered for when the balloons came in, when I could see what the final finisher was coming into. It's just so special, and it just reminds me like just what the weekends are about. And again, it's athletic accomplishments from people of all abilities, and it's about so much more than 13.1 miles, and that just being able to see that in the community and just see people's faces and amazing costumes and just wonderful positive experiences. It just made me all warm and fuzzy inside and just happy to it's so happy. um I need to cheer the finish line more often. And there wasn't even beer there. I was just there of my own accord. Like
Nice.
didn't even that I had to nurse my beer before I got on the bus. I was just happy and avoiding my 20. um but went back to the hotel, dropped my stuff off, finished the 20 as I said earlier, and then I took some nice long pool time. I swam. I was like swimming in
Pool
the
rat lives
pool.
on.
Oh, pool rat forever, pool rat forever. And it was great. I was talking to some people who also just got their coast to coast. It was wonderful. It was really wonderful. Just chit chatting with them, just how their races went, and it was great. And then I had some nice relaxation time by the pool, and then I was like ready to like kind of like go shower and like kind of like get like myself like ready again for the day. My tattoos, I gotta say my Start Line Co tattoos I had put on before the I did not put them on before the 10K because I had sleeves on. I put them on before my day on the 10K.
Okay.
So, um, so I wanted to give like my stats on like how many showers
Oh
like we
yeah.
survived.
I love
And
the
then
data.
swimming.
Please tell me.
Oh yes. So, definitely showered, and then I ran a half marathon slash 20 miles, and then I swam, and
Mhm.
then I showered again,
Mhm.
and she was still looking crisp. I also like was like I obviously like wash my arm because like that would have been I felt sweaty.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweaty. Yeah, whatever. We're moving on. I am a sweaty girly. So I like washed, but I wasn't like scrubbing in on it, and like yeah, she stayed. She was lovely. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it. Then I went back to the parks and first went over to I believe Disneyland Park, which is funny that I'm saying I believe as if you're supposed to validate that for me. Um because oh no, because I didn't. I went to no, I did go to Disneyland. Great. Love that for me. Yes, because I went and I did Space Mountain. I got myself all freshly glittered up. Oh yeah, I went to Jelly Holiday, and because it was 90 degrees out, you know what I did? I got soup. I got corn chowder and a good brisket sandwich. And I didn't eat all that much of the soup. I ate like a good amount of it, but then at a certain point it was too much hot in soup. I couldn't hang, but it was really good. I was full. Went to Space Mountain. Had the Disneyland band pass by as I was kind of sitting vibing. And then I went for the Run Fit Fab meetup in front of Haunted Mansion Holiday. And that was so much fun. I pretty much hung out with them for the rest of the evening because we did like a big group picture. We took the reel of like holding your medals the way men hold fish. It was so funny. We all waited for Haunted Mansion Holiday. Um, and honestly, like I met another Nebraskan because of course I did in line.
Ooh.
She lives in St. Louis now, but she grew up Lincoln, Nebraska, and then went to and then like has lived in Nebraska. So I'm like, okay, of course, 50 Shades of Nebraska here. You find them everywhere, and that was wonderful. It was great. I mean, I love Haunted Mansion Holiday. It's freaking phenomenal of an overlay. And then we went and camped out for Paint the Night, the nighttime parade, because basically what we did is we held bench spots on Main Street, or like not bench, but curb spots on Main Street, and then like we kind of like took turns like running to go get dinner. Uh, I got the Monte Cristo, sandwich that Maz, my cousin, had told me about, and it hit. It was super good. But we were kind of like taking turns, like going off to get food. And let me tell you, paint the night. I was worried about the like it's a parade that was so hyped up. It's so good and it lives up. It lives up to the hype. Like phenomenally so. If you get a chance to see it, you really have to. It is amazing. And we had such perfect spots. Kristen knew in Run Fit Mama We Trust Baby. She knew what she was doing in terms of having where to put us. But it was amazing. Then there was like kind of the then you had some time to go. I basically gave up on the idea I was seeing World of Color because by the time that the parade came all the way down Main Street, it was past 9 o'clock. So there was no way I was going to make it over for World of Color at California Adventure. And then it was like, okay, we're going to kind of do like a little then fireworks, then Phantasmic, but then some people wanted to go do Tiana's, and I'm like, well, I haven't done this yet here on this coast, and then it ended up being down, but we did catch the very end of Phantasmic, and because so at Phantasmic at Disneyland occurs on Tom Sawyer Island is the stage, so it's in the park. So imagine Rivers of America and Magic Kingdom, and there's more space than there is here, but just for in all intents and purposes. And so it's not like that you're not in a theater of sorts. Okay? So when the boat is off stage, the characters still have to be in character, waving to you as they're finishing the show. They don't bag the fish on the West Coast because they don't have to, because they get them far enough away. But basically, as we're waiting to see if Tiana's is going to come back up, I just kind of some of the group and I kind of just filter over to where the boat is, if all the characters are all waving and they have to stay on stage. It was super funny though, because it was just basically oh wait, this is cool, we would never see this in Florida, because just the logistics and stuff at Disneyland. Then we end up kind of heading back toward Main Street. And then I remembered I had a lightning lane for Indiana Jones. So I went over to that and I departed the rest of the group, kind of an Irish exit, oopsie. And did that. And then kind of deciding what to do, I was like, I'm going to go over to Fantasyland. It's late now and I'm tired. And I bet Mr. Toad had a really short wait. So did Mr. Toad as one does. And then even though it's not marathon weekend, I did get on the pony, and I made sure I got on Walt's favorite pony, Jingles, and I rode the carousel after a half marathon with my little coast to coast medal on, because it kind of just feels right. Did not play Pink Pony Club. I am saving that for the marathon weekend. Then for realsies, it was Betty Bide time. I did catch Paint the Night as I was leaving. Because it goes down Main Street and then goes the other way to leave, or and its second showing of the night, which is kind of cool.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely it's really interesting the way the logistics work there at Disneyland. They have a lot less space. They have a lot less backstage space. They don't have utilidors. So I feel like everything's really optimized, which is pretty neat. Next morning, I get myself all packed up and very sad. And basically, my objective this morning is to get medal photos, which I do in lots of different places. And I brought back, because I kept getting asked by people what race did you do in Florida to do your coast to coast? And I go, well, a lot of them, all of them, if you will. And I explained, but I brought back my Princess half marathon medal because it was Aurora, because it looks so dope with the Maleficent medal. But basically, I just was on a little medal photo shoot spree. I go the Mickey Pumpkin in front of the castle, in front of the partner statue. Those ones are my favorite. I see Mary Poppins just mulling about her morning, which was awesome. I do Haunted Mansion Holiday again, which is so good. And then I go over to Disneyland. I get lunch at Pim's Test Kitchen and Adventures Campus. And then I try to get on Incredicoaster, and then like it's having some ups and downs, and it's like throughout that morning, and it was up at the time, but I'm like, listen, I'm not taking that chance because I don't have all that much time. And if I don't have all that much time, I don't need to be getting walked off Incredicoaster right now. I saw Rex from Toy Story. The character costume, I will just have to send this to you, is so cute.
Oh.
He's so realistic. Like, I was so geeked out. I did not take a picture like with him because I didn't want to wait in the line. I didn't really have the time for that. And but I was geeked out. I get some pictures on Pixar Pier in front of Mickey's Wheel of Death, and actually like a PhotoPass like supervisor is like, wow, some of these are really cute. Like I might have to like pull these. Like he was just kind of like walking around. He's like kind of like pull these like because like some of my metal pictures were so good.
Oh.
But kind of it was so cute because like all the characters are in like little Halloweeny costumes too. And I went over to the Grand Californian because they had a specialty bake shop
Ooh.
of like Halloween treats, and that's where I got the rest of Mr. Natalie's peace offerings. So got him a cookie, got him a Rice Krispie as is tradition, and then also got myself a cookie shot with Crown Apple in it. It was really good, and then I was like, as I'm sitting there mulling about, I'm like, all right, it's time for me to go. So then I go back to my hotel, collect my luggage, and then go on off to the airport. And I did become a magic key holder.
You crazy.
So if you upgrade your tickets before you can upgrade, like at Walt Disney World before the end of your stay. So I really just need like 2 days
Yeah.
to
It's,
break even.
just one more race weekend.
Yeah, it's crazy though, right? Like, because they have one. So yes, am I in the hunt? Yes, I am. Shocked, I tell you, shocked. There's just something so special to Disneyland race weekends, and like, not to say that it's like not as special as well, because I love Walt Disney World race weekends too, but I don't know. It's just I thought that this really hit it out of the park. I'm so sad that Halloween's going to go away. Um, like I really feel like, wow, like I do need to try to do this again in January if I can. Disneyland is such a special place. People are so happy. People are, despite what a lot of people have said, like I didn't like the whole grumpy cast member thing. Like did not experience, like, yes, like, do I feel like there's a little bit wider of a range in like kind of like who you encounter? Yeah, maybe. But I never came across anybody who's straight out grumpy. They actually kind of would like kind of mess with you a little bit more. Like, especially like security would kind of like play off you a little bit, but like security absolutely loves the medal holder that I have too, 2 park princesses. But absolutely they're like, this thing is so cool. I'm like, yeah, it's like a CD case. It's so cool. They're like, this is so handy. It's like, and the one was like, okay, flex, got to pull out another medal. So funny, but it was such a magical trip. I was definitely kind of ready to go home, but in a way, but I already can't wait to come back because I better go back in the next year. Just I can make a weekend work, even if it's not the race weekend. But it was such a magical time, and I am so excited. It really kind of like having had like a good second half of my half and stuff like that. That really like invigorated me again for Chicago. Pressure was off, kind of just vibes, and I'm like, wow, I actually like ran pretty well. So makes me excited for the rest of the Run Disney season, and just like the appetizer of like, when I was walking on 5K morning to the parks and people were walking back from the race, and I was just like, oh, congratulations to pretty much everyone I saw. It was just like that warm and fuzzy feeling that Run Disney gives you of just like, wow, like we're so back, baby. I loved it.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. I wish you were there.
Someday.
Yes, someday.
If you enjoy listening to our show, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We love reading your reviews out loud, and you might even be featured on a future podcast episode. We have a community spotlight on our Instagram at Stride Sisters Podcast. If you want to be featured for a Metal Monday, Finish Line Friday, or any accomplishment you want to celebrate, send us a picture via our social media platforms or our email. And to continue the fun, join us on our Facebook page. All the ways to connect with us can be found in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Until our next adventure, we're wishing you endless miles of magic and memories. See you next time.